Hello and welcome to episode 399.
Whoa, oh, it's almost 400?
It's almost
Look at
400.
this guy.
So close.
Ooh, wow.
That's
Wow,
pretty
we
cool.
Of DCP.
That is very cool.
Mhm.
That means
Man.
420 is coming up.
420 is on the way. Oh man, that's gonna be an epic show.
So,
Or a
of,
very bad one.
of the five of us here, who has like the most attendance of those 399 episodes? It's either Briar or Watts, right?
I think it's
Yeah.
Briar.
I think it's gotta be
Could be
Watts.
I think it's Briar. If Tufty was here, it'd be Tufty.
Yeah.
All right,
It-
I've
Tefty-
never missed a
chat,
show.
somebody
Tefty
go
lost
back
some
and take
slots in
attendance.
the last year.
Let's just say it's Holtzmann though. Let's just assume
Yeah.
Mhm,
that it's
mhm.
Holtzmann.
It's Holtzmann.
Well,
Yeah.
he's been jammed in my closet for every episode.
Because
I've
I'm going
been.
to reveal something that listeners and viewers don't know. He's listening right now. He's always we don't show him like he's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Listening.
He's feeding us secret notes about
yeah. Oh, God.
the evil empire or something.
He also reads chat and makes every change that you guys suggest in chat. So
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
I
I
just
think he's on marathon now.
is he though?
I think.
I think you're right. I just
Yeah.
picture him as the
he's on
bad guy
marathon
in Inspector Gadget, where you don't even see his face. He's just in the chair petting his
Claw.
cat.
Dr. Claw or whatever. Yes. I love this. What an arc that guy's had.
right?
Mm.
Yeah, Tefty was the guy that never missed the show. Like ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet he's
And
one of those
Tefty is
kids that
very excited
graduated.
to come on, by the way.
Yes. Yes.
So
He
I'm
is.
trying to pick a good day, but he is very
buy me some time to
very
get over it.
excited. Fran,
Okay.
you're never gonna play it.
That's such a lie. You're
Mark
a
my words,
filthy
everyone.
liar.
Well,
That's
Fran,
been
you
what,
said it would happen in
400
September, and
pounds.
you know what day it is?
No.
It's October 3rd.
I never
Ooh.
promised such a thing. Okay. You don't know me. How dare you? Holtzmann, by the way, yes, is a combatant designer on Marathon. So one
There you go.
reason to be excited.
Yeah.
And that's according to his X profile, Twitter profile.
And that's a PVE thing. So take that.
Mm-hmm.
Take that.
Good point. Good point.
We got a lot to talk about this week, huh?
Oh,
Seems like
Yes.
always lately, but that's a good,
Yeah.
nice problem to
That's
have.
a good thing, yeah.
It is that time of
Yeah.
year. Like for Destiny, they're like making like War and Peace as TWABs these days. Twids, sorry.
there's there's so much that they can't even put it all in the TWID. They have like outside of TWID news,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
you have TWID news. There's so much.
No,
It's-
like, let's divvy it up. Let's do one blog post, one giant Twitter thread, and then we'll also do a live stream.
yeah.
All
that's-
within 3
yeah.
days.
There's if you want to have the full information of everything, you have to look in so many places. I almost wish it was just like one article and then, a stream. Then I could just look in one place.
I wish there was just like a TLDR version of it.
Yeah,
Right.
I will be honest.
You can
I
attempt to do that.
understand they're probably quite busy, but it's actually a little uncommon to not have recapped in full the video, into
It
article
is,
form.
yeah.
So I just assumed the team was really busy. Sometimes people have vacations, sick days, other issues, and so I don't know. Maybe we'll still get a recap, but it is more unusual to not have it written, and broken down.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure Reddit took care of that.
that's a good point.
Probably.
There's probably some Destiny creators that have latched onto such an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, there was a lot of info in that 1 hour stream.
Yeah. And plus, we're rapidly approaching the holiday season. Like the big games are starting to drop, right? It's like, it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
time. You guys are chatty tonight.
We got a lot to talk about. Crickets.
We're
Yeah,
afraid to
crickets.
start on a topic because there is a lot to talk about. So
Yeah, I
so-
think that's
And
it.
it scares me. It fills me with dread, actually.
does.
Existential dread. Looking
should-
at a page of percentages,
I'll tell you what,
and
we
it scares me.
4 minutes and 20 seconds into the show. I think it's time
Yeah.
to talk about the Destiny Revenant live stream.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll start with the
Frontiers
live
Next
stream.
Gen Armor.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
see that.
The live stream and the armor was actually like exciting stuff. So
So yeah, it was a long stream.
like an hour.
Which was a good thing. Again, they previewed episode Revenant, and so we'll get Act 1, which is part of the final shape. which is part of Destiny 2. Try to keep track of your numbers and names here, folks. But it does have a cool logo, which is one thing that they've been doing. This is kind of their, like, I don't know, we'll call it the Bloodborne vampire kind of looking theme. So that's exciting.
Focuses on the Scorn. We get Fickrell is like our main antagonist this time around, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, and they
correct.
revealed some new concept art with that. It looks, I mean, the style of the season at least looks really cool. I'm always down for a darker vibe.
That gothic fantasy.
Yeah. But one of the big things they revealed here, right, is that it's going to have 3 maps. Onslaught is coming back. That's from Into the Light. So I think that's probably the biggest news, for this episodic drop, that people would be like, wait, what? Because I know that everybody pretty much universally loved Onslaught, right?
Right. And it's more than just maps. It's more than that. There's new defenses as well. Like, do you remember back in, I don't know if you guys remember this. Do you remember the beta for Destiny 1? And we were playing on First Light, which was the moon map. Yeah. And there was the turret. You could get into the turret and just and then they took it out of the game. They're like, "Nah, we can't do turrets in the game." Well, the turret's back, baby, and it's an Onslaught. Which I saw that and I was like, "Oh, okay, all right."
I'm glad to see that return. That's nice. Yeah,
that was a good callback.
I like that.
And apparently they're upgrading the tripwires too to make them a bit more powerful, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's Onslaught itself is getting an upgrade. I'm probably losing track of. I don't know if the whole thing was renamed to Onslaught Salvation or if that is part of the versions, but they are, they're raising difficulty levels in this. You're also going to have, as part of one or all of those things, that power is now like re-enabled and stuff too. So they're not like flatlining everybody against the scale. Like, you are going to need to grind that artifact, get your power up. And actually, as a reminder, right, pinnacle power is going up plus 10 again.
Plus 10,
right.
yep.
So we're back to that whole thing. So you'll have something to grind for.
Whether you love it or hate it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then they showed, what was it, Widow's Court?
Yeah.
What'd you think of that? Every time I see it, I'm like, oh man, I've played so much of that map. But I have to say the Onslaught was fun. But, despite the balancing, I actually liked the Cosmodrome. That was my favorite just because of the vibe. And so what I'm getting at is, for me, I was like, oh God, Widow's Court, but I do think it's proved itself to be fun.
Yeah, I think Midtown was my favorite one, I think. So
same.
Maybe Widow's Court will be just as good.
Yeah. It's weird. I think I'm a little scarred from and I haven't even played nearly as much as y'all when it comes to PvP, but I like being, I think, I don't know, I guess like in the world and more of the open locations. I guess that's just like a vibe thing. So I'm not talking about what was the most fun, but like Midtown, staring at the side of those buildings, I just didn't get much of a like, oh, cool, And so when I see Widow's Court, I think it's a good use of past assets, and Onslaught again has proved itself to be fun. But maybe I'm the only one who has that reaction. I'm like, oh God, Widow's Court is back.
I like the way that Midtown played, but I would agree. Like, I think it would have created even a cooler vibe if we were really in some of those. They could reuse assets again, because we have actually been in the streets of the last city several times in different missions and campaigns and things of the sort. So there's definitely, I think, some content there they could have used. But I think that would have been cooler to be in a little bit of a different in the city location.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, that's big news. So if you were into Onslaught, they're raising difficulty, more rewards. I recall hearing, what was it, like level 30 to 50, on your waves. And this is big news too. I forgot if I mentioned it, but again, you won't be able to craft the seasonal weapons. So you're going to have to find these ways to earn them. They got a new alchemy table that you're going to be able to drink these potions or whatever to kind of target things. Very similar to, like, remember Into the Light, you could like target weapons that you wanted. But anyway, at higher levels, they were like, oh, you might get in that band a higher chance of a masterwork double perk, version of one of the seasonal weapons. So, they seem big on getting you out there grinding for the god roll, and the surprise of like, oh, I got it, versus like, we all know, like, you were just like Okay, I got all my red borders. It's like,
Yeah,
cool.
they're
Yeah,
definitely changing crafting.
and it's about time. Like with all the seasons that we've had, that's really just been the loop. Is like you just go do the seasonal activity over and over and over again until you get all your red borders, and then done. You know, it's like, well, I can craft everything. Let's throw away all the rolls that I had drop and stop playing the seasonal content.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, as part of that, they revealed the little like alchemy table and this new mechanic that is part of the season. So it was both targeting weapons as well as, and this was big news too, which I think do they touch on in the TWID, as it were. But you can boost the artifact. I mean, you can see it in the preview. So now when you look at the new artifact, which they unveil a bunch of perks, and I don't know if we want to talk about it, you see this like boost thing that's in there. And that is from crafting these, I'm going to call them
Right.
potions for now. Hopefully I got that
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Potions is good.
Onyx, even.
Yeah. So like is an example.
Yeah, give an example.
Let's look at Wind Chill is a perk in the third column. Rapid stasis weapon precision hits grant you a stack of frost armor. Rapid precision hits from weapons with the Dark Ether Reaper origin trait grant you more stacks of frost armor. But then, presumably, if you drink one of these potions, get a boost. Dealing stasis weapon damage to slowed targets has a chance to spawn a stasis shard. And so they have a number of these like boost effects.
That's
so,
just
like,
screaming wicked implement to me right there. Big.
yeah.
Be
That
fun
is
to play
such
with.
a good exotic. Oh my god.
Yeah, it is.
What else? I'm like firing through all this
I
stuff.
know it's just so many things to keep track of.
Yeah, so we talk. I mean, do we want to talk about the details of the artifact? I mean, it's just one of those things. I think, like we mentioned last week, you probably should just go and look at it, decode it for yourself.
Right.
But it is very focused on stasis.
Very stasis heavy. Yep.
Yeah.
It is a stasis season, which makes sense. I think, we've got Scorn always make me feel stasis, even though they weren't introduced in a stasis season. But anytime I see Fallen or anything related to Fallen, I think of stasis.
Mhm.
So we could mention the suite of new seasonal weapons. It looks like
Yeah.
a pretty nice bundle of guns. Like I'm kind of excited about them. We get a new sidearm, but it's a precision frame sidearm, which precision frames cook right now
They are
in
good. Yeah.
PvP. But the problem is they're all gone out of the gate. So like if you have a swift verdict, great. If you don't have one, can't get it. The only like ones you can target, I think, are, I mean, you just have the exotics. Well, exotic, right? It's just the cryesthesia is precision frame.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think the Haka one from the gunsmith is available on a rotation, maybe if you kind of roll the dice and get lucky. But other than that, I mean, that's it. So they kind of took all of them out of the game. So cool, we got another one of those coming back, and the aesthetic on these things looks pretty cool. Like, I don't know, how would you?
Is this
How
the
would you
red
describe that
carapace
aesthetic?
armor kind of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, that kind of a vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we
I guess
got
that sticking bug armor on a weapon
yeah.
and tying it up.
But it's stuff that I think people are gonna get excited about, right? Precision sidearm, adaptive sniper rifle, those always go over well. Lightweight scout rifle, adaptive pulse rifle. So I'm pretty jazzed about that. And they even showed like the perk options for these, like the perk pool for these, but they also included redacted on
A
a few
lot
of
of
these. So
redacted.
there's
Yeah, there's a
obviously
lot
going
of
to be
redacted.
some new perks as well. So excited. Well, the one that confused me though, I will say this, is that we are getting a stasis aggressive frame hand cannon. Those are the 2-round burst ones, right? Like the aggressive
Ooh.
hand cannons are the new 2-round
like
burst ones, right?
the new one that we got from like
Didn't we
the final
just
shape
get
location.
a stasis one with the final shape? Is it?
I don't
It
know.
is, right? Like that one's stasis too. So that was strange to
think
me that
so.
they would double down on the stasis ones. But other than that, it does look like a great suite of weapons.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was trying to
definitely
remember
looks
the
good.
name of the frame on that one. I know the gun you're talking about, but can't find it. I got my dim open, but we'll look later.
I like the look of these weapons. They look cool.
They do look cool.
Yeah, I mean the seasonal stuff. I actually think it always looks pretty cool overall. So at least that is still on track.
Some of it looks a lot like repurposed, like Forsaken stuff.
Yeah,
Like
I was
the
gonna say the
adaptive.
sniper looks like Dreaming City,
Yeah, Sniper looks like
Twilight
to
Oath.
no, to me it looks like shoot, why am I spacing on the name of it? It was the strike specific one for when you kill the giant scion. You chase the scion through, he's like controlling Vex.
What
Ooh.
type
Wait.
of
Come on, what's
sniper
his
is it?
name? Craig. Cargan. I knew I'd get there. I was like, what do I always call it? Craig. Why? Cargan. Yeah, Cargan. So the long goodbye. It all came back to me. Still got
Long
it, baby.
goodbye.
It looks
There
like
you
the
go.
long goodbye to me. The hand cannon looks like Spare Rations frame.
It does.
The
Yep.
Yeah.
pulse rifle looks like the Forsaken. We had those 2 Forsaken pulse rifles that were aggressive. I am spaced on the names of those. Forgive me. But it's wrapped in some cool looking stuff. So it's familiar but new.
If you put a nice purple shader on that, it's gonna look like Tyranid armor.
Go figure. That's it. Yes.
There's a Space Marine integration. You knew it was coming.
Briar has the Space Marines on his brain.
I
He
do.
sees
He's not
Tyranids
alone.
everywhere.
He's not alone.
Huffing that spray paint.
Mhm.
We got
Um,
another slew of weapons, seeing as we're on weapons,
Mm-hmm.
is they're doing reprised Garden of Salvation weapons.
Yes.
So that's a whole thing that's happening. Garden of Salvation is, of course, the raid.
That is
And-
my
yeah.
probably my favorite gun and favorite auto rifle, the Reckless Oracle,
Mm.
and they're upgrading it. I don't know if I want to replay that a ton. Not that I have anything against it actually, but that auto rifle is amazing.
I always thought that was
You
a
get
fun raid.
They're
Yeah.
adding a destabilizing rounds and paracausal affinity to Reckless Oracle.
Yeah, that is.
So these weapons are being brought
bomb.
back, and they are being given new perks, and then it also says a new element in the case of a hand cannon, which is the
Yes.
Ancient Gospel. Ancient Gospel is now a void adaptive hand cannon
There's
Mhm.
some
with Rampage kill clip.
baller weapons in Garden.
Yeah, I was gonna
There
say
are
like,
very good ones. Yeah.
when I look at their examples of all of these, and yeah, like Ancient Gospel, probably more PV. I mean, it's both really, but a void adaptive hand cannon now that can drop with both Rampage and Kill Clip as one of the options. But yeah, all of those weapons were already pretty amazing. In fact, I even like the sniper. I've always
Oh,
liked that.
I love
sniper.
Omniscient Eye. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good.
So now it can drop, with new precision instrument on top of 4th time's a charm, stack with that. So I mean, they're really wanting you to get in there if you want that loot, because they're giving away. Honestly, when I look at the preview, like I'm saying, it's like this all looks extremely powerful. So that's
well,
good.
they're also, Fran, they're also adding more weapons.
Yes.
There are even more.
There are more weapons.
Trials.
This is the Crucible, Trials, and Gambit weapons.
Do you see
Gambit?
the
What's
sidearm in
that?
that picture?
I do indeed.
You know, that looks like the
Anonymous Autumn.
well, the one in the picture actually looks like the Europa one. The 3-round burst one.
yeah,
High
the one
albedo.
that's
High albedo.
yeah, the
But
one
they-
that's in Gambit, but they don't have it actually listed here.
But then also, of course,
Mm.
Anonymous Autumn, which is like one of my favorite guns in the history of Destiny 2, period. Love that thing.
I don't have one of those anymore. So
My chat made me delete mine. I had 15,000 PvP kills on it too.
Wow.
Oof. Oh my goodness.
I gotta start all over now.
It's true.
And actually, one thing we should back up a little bit into the episodic stuff. We know
Yep.
Icebreaker is back. And
It
they
is.
did talk about that. You know, they were talking about how you get your ammo economy. And I don't know if they wrote it in here, but it was basically by, killing with your other weapons. And then when you go back to Icebreaker,
Reloads
it's
it.
kind of, reloading it. But then they also hinted that they're like, before we didn't have any ice to break, and now we do.
Yeah.
But we're just going to like leave it at that. So that I don't know if there's been more that's said, but it seems like it's going to have
I
some
think
kind
that
of,
was it. Yeah. Some kind of interaction with stasis in some way.
Interesting.
yeah.
Makes
So-
sense.
Yeah, and we're probably seeing some of the preview of that in the artifact, where like one of them was, I think maybe it was the one I read, where like you crack open a crystal and it like has a burst and leaves behind something, and
There's like the fog, like you leave the mist behind, like the fog that slows things.
yeah, and
That
I
could
bet
be a
you
cool
it's
interaction.
something like that. So yeah, I mean,
Wasn't the
lots-
original Destiny 1 lore on that thing that it would sometimes like misfire and kill the user?
Yep. You had to like
I
keep
think
an
they
eye
should
on
add that.
the.
I really
the
want them
heat
to
of
add
it.
that. Just like
Me too.
It's
one
just
out
like
of like
1%.
Yeah,
like a
just rolling
1%
the
chance or
dice.
something.
even less
Every
than that,
time you
like
pull the trigger.
like a 0.1%. Like it's
Yeah.
so low that you forget it's there until it.
yeah, but when it happens,
Yeah.
oh, I love that. Yes,
And when you die and it says what happens, it just says backfire or something.
yeah.
Ice broken.
Until you
Yeah.
get a bug in the game where it's happening all the time, and then like you get
Yeah. Or somebody figures out a way to exploit it.
exactly. But yeah, lots going on there. What else? They previewed new banner armor.
There was
Finally,
new
new Iron Banner armor, yeah.
Banner armor in here. Yeah, I like that Warlock robe. I like Warlock
Yeah.
robes that show the thigh.
Wow.
Oh yeah, a little leg.
Racy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
show some
Yeah,
leg.
that
on it.
high slit. Yeah, there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
I think all of the armor looks really nice. So that's good. As a reminder, too.
I'm not so
remember
sure about
ban-
that Titan helmet. I mean, not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The
Really?
Titan helmet is maybe a no for me. I like the chest piece for the Titan though, and
Yeah,
the,
that
Chest
looks
piece is
good.
cool.
But you're
sort of
gonna.
cloth.
That's not very aerodynamic on the speeder or on the Sparrow. Like that.
No, you'd be catching a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
wind.
not
your neck's gonna be hurting.
You got to point your head down, dude, and then it actually gives you more aerodynamics. Yeah, you know what it is? To me, the inspiration on the Titan, like the helmet, is almost like a two-sided axe, into the helmet, and then the
yeah.
arms are like hammers.
Okay.
That's what it looks
Kind
like.
of Viking.
You see that?
Yeah, it's got.
It is. So it does
Little bit.
sort of have a Viking vibe to it, doesn't it? Especially on the
Yeah.
gauntlets there.
Are the
Yeah, the
shoulder
Warlock,
pads
too.
like lizard heads?
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah, I see what you're saying,
It
yeah.
kind of looks like the head of an eel, doesn't
An
it?
eel. Yeah.
Look
okay.
at that right shoulder.
Myelin,
a
what would they
moray
be?
eel.
We got any eels in the game?
Eels are very mysterious in every world.
And delicious.
I'm surprised we haven't had eels. We probably have and just forgot. Like, with
Yeah.
the fishing in the aquarium. And I don't know. But no, I think it looks nice. As a reminder, it does come back for 2 weeks consecutive. And that's
It
starting on
does.
Oh, that's right.
November 5th.
It's also bringing
Mhm.
with it a stasis rocket frame sidearm for
Yeah.
Iron Banner. So
All right.
Oh,
those have been pretty good.
those are pretty hot. Yeah.
Very good.
Pretty good.
And then they're bringing back Archon's Thunder, the machine gun, which will now be a stasis high-impact machine gun.
You're gonna have
It-
like 700 stasis weapons this season, and you're not gonna be able to use them all.
They won't fit in your vault.
There's
That's
a lot
my
of
issue.
stasis. Wow.
Um,
We also got to learn about we got to learn about the Zerf board.
yes, that's exactly how I was going to
The
mention that.
Zerf board, which apparently was the internal name that they used for it, because some of the devs that are no longer at Bungie for whatever reason were like, yes, they use the internal name. So it's the Zerf board. It looks like it comes straight out of the
Trials of the Nine.
the
kinda.
9, yeah.
Mhm.
And you're gonna be
And
able to
it's
get
earnable.
it from Zer, yeah, with strange coins.
And you can
Yeah,
add
it was like
yeah.
96
some.
or something.
Yeah.
Something
All of
like
your strange
almost your
coins.
cap of strange coins, essentially.
So save up.
That's cool.
But that is nice because as a reminder, it was which was it Solstice or no, Guardian Games? Yeah. That you could earn for the first time the skimmer, right? That you had to like get the rare one and then make you had to grind more to get like the final one, or you could just buy it from the store.
Right.
And so for the people that didn't buy it, they don't have one. So it is an important drop. So get your strange coins and then you got to track Zer
Mhm.
down.
How long would that take in game to earn 96 strange coins?
I was wondering. I don't think it's too crazy.
I don't think it's that bad, yeah. If you
couple
could, like,
weeks kind of
grind for
thing.
it.
Or,
Well, people were saying if you just grind GMs, you can get it really fast.
yeah.
Obviously not. That's not something everyone does.
Yeah, if it comes
That
out, I mean,
requires you to grind GMs.
I can say
Yeah.
I do think there's a lot of folks that are sitting on some, and I don't know, maybe I'm just speaking from experience, but I often, and I heard, I think Andy talk on stream too, of like you're cashing them in for materials and Glimmer. A lot of people were doing since they changed the economy, and like so.
A lot of people have been getting their other rolls on their class item, the exotic class item. So people
Oh,
are
yeah.
probably pretty low on strange coins at the moment.
Interesting.
Yeah, right.
But save up. They, you know.
I
you
have
got-
99, easy. I'll log in and pick that up for myself.
Yep. Good. Glad you mentioned that. Was probably the only other really big thing. I mean, they did.
They're bringing
also,
Inverted Spire back.
Yes,
That's coming back.
that is another. That's right. The re-inverted spire. So we're getting a strike
Yes.
return.
Like
Which strike is
the
that? I
OG.
can't remember.
Isn't that the one that they showed like Destiny 2 reveal streams? It's like their
it-
showcase one.
It might
That
have
was
been,
like
yeah,
that
the one
first
where
It's the one that had the drills that were spinning around
Yes.
during that one section.
yeah.
a lot of portal jumping.
Yeah.
The
Boosted and then
floor
Smith.
falls out from underneath you. Yes.
And that's the one where you end up, I think, up top on the platform fighting the servitor that's like rotating around you. Get the
I
name,
didn't know
think,
that was
right?
gone.
It's hard to keep track.
It's hard to keep track of what's coming, what's gone.
You know, the
Right?
Red
To be
War
honest.
campaign,
What does it
you
say
can't
about
play
the
anymore,
inv-
Briar.
I could read it. Let's
Wait,
read
what?
it said. Remember the Inverted Spire, the very cool Nessus strike where you fight through some cannons, a cave, and a battlefield until you reach an enormous drill that went so deep it found trouble. Well, it's back with the Vex Geads
It's like
as in vengeance.
Khazad-dûm.
Not that it ever left. It was still possible to play it in game, but it was one of the original Destiny 2 strikes that were bound for an update. So it's getting an update. You could still play it.
Oh, it's getting an update.
It's coming back, yeah, being updated.
Oh.
And they've also added a new narrative to go with it because the Vex are the main enemy present. That means they will have terrible defenses installed and new units deployed. So it'll be a little bit different.
Okay.
So it's gonna be different, or are they just moving around enemies?
I don't know. Only in here did they mention wyverns, so I don't know. I am not sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's
This
still gonna be that ravenous pack of dogs at the top of the drill before you hop down. Remember that?
Yeah.
yeah, probably.
Man,
I
It's
think-
funny. You run strikes so much that like you get good at like sprinting through sections like that where you don't even like interact with that kind of thing anymore. It's like the first time I remember interacting with those dogs, but then you eventually get so like used to running that strike that you know which level to be on, you know when the drills are gonna pop, and you know where those dogs are gonna come, and you know that if you drop down like right when you get there and run through, that the dogs will just never catch up to you. You never have to really
You
worry
can
about it.
sparrow through. Yeah,
Yeah.
You skim through now.
that's right.
What did they speak about the back half of the live stream with the Frontier stuff? Because that's where I tuned. That's where I had to
Yeah, I
turn
mean,
off the stream.
Should we move on to next gen armor? I mean, there's
Yeah.
definitely watch stream. There's a
yeah,
lot
it's
of
when it's
little
when they were
details.
going into frontiers, yeah, and kind of describing what they're doing with frontiers. So we can talk about the armor. Yeah, we could jump into
Mhm.
that. So armor, we heard before that they were doing changes to weapons and armor, and then they just told us about weapons and they didn't tell us about armor. So we were like, hello. They do have a little TLDR. The TLDR is armor will be a more active, interesting part of build crafting. Stats will be reworked to be more impactful, less confusing, and less constraining. And set bonuses are being introduced.
Huh.
So, yes, lots of games have set bonuses. Destiny so far has kept away from doing set bonuses, but they are going to do it now. So first thing they're doing is reworking stat mechanics. So stat effects will no longer be tiered every 10 points. Every point in a stat will provide a benefit. So you know how you're going
Okay.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
Yeah, and you can have
don't,
like
yeah.
wasted stats.
If you're at 18, you're getting the 10 benefit, not the 20. You're just wasting 8 points there. Yeah. Well, now every single point stat
That's
will
kinda
provide a
nice.
benefit. That is nice because you don't have to hunt for the perfect armor, and because honestly, the thing for me is I just look at something that is like 19 or 28, and I'm like, it bothers me.
Right.
It just,
Yeah,
it,
because it's
it
not
just bothers
like
me.
it's not about if it's got higher stats. It's like, does it suit all your other gear to give you like the perfect tier, you know? So you're not wasting any points. So it makes it like very hard to look at a single drop and know if it's good, because you really need to know if
Yeah.
it's good for your other stuff to go into. But now you know that you're going to get points for anything. So really it's just like bigger number, better stats, really. As long
Yeah.
as you're not over 100%.
Oh, however,
Well,
Myelin.
That's just one
What's the
point.
next sentence?
Something
Stat
big.
effects will be capped at 200,
Right.
with the range from 101 to 200 providing an additional powerful effect building on the base effect. This change is intended to support deeper investment in a smaller number of stats and spikier stat distributions on armor with fewer secondary dump stats.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
and like
Okay.
TLDR, it's like, oh, you have a chance to have 2 grenades. You have a chance to have 2 melees, as an example of like what that stat range
Mm.
might provide to you.
Yeah,
That's huge.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Can I be a Titan with 200 resilience?
Yes.
I have double shields now. So.
Yeah, I don't know what happens when you have 200 resilience. Jesus.
Yeah, it's a good point. They
2
gave us
barriers.
those examples of like discipline and strength, or actually there was a special ammo example where like you would get a double-sized brick in that 101 to 200 range, but they didn't talk about resiliences and resistance type stuff.
Yeah.
So curious.
So, in addition to the above changes, the distribution of stats on armor will also be changing. Legendary armor will have a stat archetype, which determines the primary and secondary stat types, with a third stat being a free roll. The values of these stats should be overall spikier, leading again to fewer dump stats. The class slot, Hunter Cloaks, Warlock Bonds, Titan Marks, will have full stat distributions on par with other slots. So that's also a big change.
Yeah. No more cloaks and skirts that are just for looks.
Yep.
And mods. But then yeah, they showed like a screen example. This one's chesty.
Yeah, yeah, chesty. And this shows here you've got, and it actually highlights it in blue when you're over that 100 mark to show that you're getting, you know, that extra benefit. And then it also says brawler armor, which is an armor archetype, which we will get to see a little bit down here.
It's just it's been so long since armor mattered like at all. We were way overdue for change, so I'm happy to hear. I mean, quite honestly, I remember going back to pre-Forsaken when so I don't remember the context, but we were doing a sort of like little interview with some of the devs, and MTash had brought that up. He's like, "Listen, we don't care about armor. There's nothing about armor in this game that matters really, other than just getting your stat rolls and then being done forever." And it's like you drop these new armor sets in raids and dungeons and activities and whatnot, and there's just no reason to go get it. Like, and quite frankly, there's so much cool armor in these dungeons that we've had over the course of the last few years, and I like the armor sets. I don't use any of it other than the artificer stuff that we farmed way back in the day with which one was really easy to farm the artifice armor on. But since then, it was just like I've been done with the artifice grind. So I'm just happy that it's finally changing, and it's gonna add. I think it's such an untapped part of Destiny that creates a lot of replayability when you really dial it in well, like other games do. So, heck yeah.
But they're not changing. I haven't read the article. They're not changing like how mobility is best for hunters, like with their class.
I don't
Class
believe there's
abilities?
anything in there about that. No, I don't think so.
See, that would have been a good time because, correct me if I'm wrong,
It
that's
would have
kind of
been.
like one of the issues, right? Is like being forced to spec into hunter's mobility for your class and resilience for Titans, so for the barricades, and recovery for warlocks.
It would have been a good time to mix it up. Yeah, make like mobility, resilience, and recovery do something different. but not
Well,
be
we-
tied to your class item.
We are getting set bonuses though, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
And
So
Did we mention that already? Did I
no,
space it? Okay.
we're getting there.
And to
Um,
be fair, I mean, it's still in development. I don't know that we know for sure that those
Yeah,
things.
this is a
couldn't
ways
change.
up, yeah.
yeah, we're like well over a year away. Wait, no, spring. Not a
There
year.
you go.
Not a year.
Don't do
not a
that.
year.
Don't
But
do that
about
to
a
Not a
year,
year.
but
Maybe a year. You don't
I mean,
know.
I think
With
it's
delays,
supposed to
it might
be like June 2025-ish, right? So
They did also say that there's special ammo. There's a special ammo stat where from 1 to 100, it increases the rate at which special ammo bricks drop from final blows. From 101 to 200, it provides an increasing chance that a double-sized brick will drop. So they're adding like a special ammo stat, which is interesting.
Where is this? I can't see it. Is it not pictured?
It's not in
Ye-
the picture, which confuses me.
yeah, I'm not sure if it comes from one of these other things. That's what I brought up like briefly. That because I don't know if it comes from one of our existing stats, or maybe because what they described in one of these was that let's take discipline as an example. Which, by the way, they might rename discipline to grenade, and they might rename strength to melee. In the
Mhm.
TWID here, they say they are going to rename it, but in the live stream, they're like, we might rename. So I think for now, their plans to change it. But anyway, it was an increasing chance to gain a bonus grenade. So I kind of wonder. There's a chance of multiple things happening? I don't know. That could be it, right? That maybe ammo is in one of these as a chance to happen. Since it's a chance.
It's weird
but-
because it says special ammo and the others are strength and discipline.
Yeah. It's like actually specifically
True.
special ammo. And so in the discipline section, it doesn't actually talk about like Titan barricades. It just says it's a cooldown for grenades, and they're renaming it to grenade readability. So maybe they're changing how the class stuff works for stats.
The
Mhm.
barricade
Because then it would
is
be weird to have
resilience.
something called grenade that improves your Titan barricade.
Discipline doesn't control your barricade. Resilience does.
Oh, sorry, resilience. Sorry. Oh yeah, I'm thinking the wrong thing.
Yeah, they don't mention any of that though. So maybe they're still cooking on that, or if like they're not really
Exactly. That-
sure what they're doing with those stats. Oh, that might be it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Because
that is
maybe
a
they
good
could
idea.
even have. Oh, yep.
Will they change the intellect stat and just make standard time for supers?
Maybe, yeah. I was actually thinking the same thing about like class abilities, where they don't have a stat that is tied to class abilities anymore.
What if intellect takes over that role and
Yeah.
they just have set cooldown rates for all supers?
Yeah, yeah.
It's possible too that well, I was thinking about how they have stat archetypes, and maybe within that, I'm thinking both about set bonuses, but also just the special ammo thing. Like maybe that's part of like stat archetype stuff now too. I don't know, but it is early. Yeah, this is like, look, they want to preview and tell us where we're going, but it's just a wireframe, if you will, right? I mean, this is in turn. It's nice. Like, it's nice we're getting to see. Like, literally, this is not the final design, right? It's not called chesty. It's not going to just be a purple circle. And like most people know that, but like there's a lot you could assume, but a lot might change in the next 6 months. And we actually even know within the episodes, right? And that's where they're really, I think, trying to fail fast or iterate fast. Like they're adding pieces sometimes of ideas from Frontiers into episodic stuff. Like this episode, Revenant, we are getting a taste of the Banes. Yeah, there will be 2 Banes. I think it's the meteoric and like the shock explosion one. I forget the names, but new types of champion effects and things like that. So meaning, who knows, maybe. I don't think we'll get a preview next gen armor, but the point is it's all in progress.
I'm really
because
excited
it
about
looks pretty up in
You
the
go.
air considering they just give discipline, strength, and special ammo rather than doing like discipline, strength, and intellect. So maybe they are looking at intellect again.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
We'll see. But I mean, hey, it's exciting. We'll probably get to this in the FAQ, but I was like, oh man, I hope that ultimately that means I just want to delete all of my old armor. I want to feel like there's no.
You can do that, Fran. You can do it.
You can do that right now.
Nobody's stopping you.
Meaning I was always pro sunset, give or take like a couple like things they got to be careful. I was always like, tell me it's gone. It's get rid of it. It's old, you know. The more that I can clear that vault out, and they bring this up, I think, in this update. But I can't even fathom with, you know, it's down the road and they're looking at how to solve some of this, but like I already don't know where to put stuff in my vault without it being an exercise of like just delete stuff, you know. Constantly.
I'm excited
Um,
about what all the set bonus stuff means for
Yeah.
you know,
Let's
like
talk about it.
expressing your individuality and really taking your character creation to the next level. I mean, like, what if a guy shows up in your raid team and he's like his armor set just is like got grenades strapped to it, bandoliers and everything, and you're like, what do you got going on there? He's like, yeah, man, I'm a demolitions expert, so I use my rocket frame sidearm. And with every direct hit I get faster reload speed, and I'm also getting increased grenade damage on my, you know, sidearm hits. So I shoot with the sidearm, throw the grenade, shoot the sidearm, throw the grenade. Like, that's really cool. Like
Yeah.
the
That is cool.
visual representation of what makes your playstyle unique. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really get down there. And then somebody else is showing up in a cowboy hat and a, you know, the whole
Texas
duster, and you're like,
Mechanica.
"What are you doing?" He's like, "I just don't aim, dude. I don't do it.
I won't.
Just all down
I
here."
don't use it. Yeah.
Hip fire for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I do like the idea of set bonuses. I think it adds to build crafting, makes you feel more connected to your armor too. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Will you
can
be able to
mix and
transmog
match.
your set to make it look however you want it to look?
Yeah,
And keep the
I'm sure.
keep the bonus?
They
Yeah.
don't tell us that, but yeah, look, the gist of it is, right, they realize that they got to work on now exotic stuff as exotic armor as part of this too, but for now 4 pieces to work with, right? So that's why it's not a 5-piece set bonus.
Right,
yeah.
It's around 4, so 2 pieces at a time because you're assumed to have an exotic, but you can mix and match those perks, and they gave us some examples. I don't know if you
Yeah.
want me to
Yeah,
read
yeah.
them.
Well, it's like literally any game with set bonuses where
Yeah,
you can
like
choose to
Suicide
have
Squad,
like
you know.
2 pieces of a certain piece of armor and 2 pieces of the other, and then you can have the bonuses from both. But you don't get the mega ultimate bonus of having 4 pieces of one.
Yep. Yeah, and TrueVanguard was like giving you an example of one with Demolitions Expert is one. Another one is Vanguard Operative. The first 2 pieces would give you activating a grenade gives you and nearby allies damage resistance against combatants. So I think that one probably going to be popular. And then 4 pieces for that, defeating champions with a finisher generates special ammo for you and your fire team. So also, yeah, that Vanguard
nice.
Operative one sounds good.
They're making
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
huge
funny because
changes to
you
this
think
game.
about like how long it's taken to have set bonuses because it's in like Watt says, it's in lots of games. Like set bonuses pretty common, but it's also kind of like I feel like they couldn't do set bonuses until they had loadouts because there was so many moving pieces in like Destiny. It's like
Yeah.
you kind of need
true.
loadouts to exist to run set bonuses because you want everything working together, all your armor work with all your weapons. And now that they've got loadouts, I felt like a pretty natural evolution to have set bonuses too.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they gave us 4 examples, but it's obviously, again, it's not exclusive, and so we'll see how many of these potential set bonuses there might be, and like where they're gonna come from, and all that fun stuff. So, I will say that having played a lot of games like this, I'm curious if you guys feel this way, but they did give us loadouts, and then they gave us like call it the 1-page, the screen where it's like representing, trying to show you what's in your loadout and your stats and things like probably set bonus. It feels to me it is kind of a chore to like constantly keep track of stuff, and you know I think a lot about Division, where like it's a huge page of like a bunch of stuff on it.
There's
a
a
couple other
lot,
games.
yeah.
But I feel like that's a good thing, and we need that as part of this. I don't know if you guys have felt that way, or you have any problems. Like, wait, what am I?
When you're choosing
like,
when you're choosing loadouts, you mean?
you know, the mods that are working together now with you know, origin trait stuff. Then you have artifact traits. You got boosts happening. If you know, like meaning, I feel like a big detailed 1 page of your build, which they kind of right? You know what I mean? As part of the
Yeah, I mean, like I'm playing a lot of Once Human at the moment, and like you have a stats page, you know, and so you can see your overall stats, how everything contributes to whatever stat you're building into. But Destiny has less stat stuff and more like do this and this will proc X thing. So
right,
Yeah.
but
it's not that Diablo like stat building kind of game compared with something else.
Not as much. I mean, to be fair, yeah, I'd have to like write down the examples of the stuff that I feel like I'm hunting for, but I feel like I'm looking in one place for like, wait, do I have things equipped from between class as well as my weapons that are going to give me unstoppable and blank? And then I'm like, okay, do I now, especially with prismatic too, I'm like, what types of effects do I have on, and which mod? I don't know. I feel like I just want to see it all on one page. I feel like I'm right clicking into a lot. That's all I'm saying. I think that would be helpful. And honestly, to me, that's just like, let's just say that I'm the only one that wants to use it. It should have it. And what I mean by that is like, to me, hopefully these are just like dump a bunch of info on one screen. I think people who are, into that type of stuff always appreciate it. It's the same as like, well, it's not the same because it's more extreme. Like, we should not have to wipe after killing a boss to see all of our damage stats. And like these to me, it like surprises me. We've gone a decade. Like, you need a detailed, like, how'd your loadout do? It's crazy to me that, to me, that's part of what Destiny is. I don't think it's a negative to just add it in there.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about Halo was always the Carnage report at the end of a mission, or like even the end of a firefight run with your horde mode. See, oh, this gun got this many kills. So you could like really dial in, okay, what was working, what wasn't working. I think that would go a really long way in helping players really dial in their own loadouts and refine and tweak their builds.
Yeah, to me, it's it's like them helping you see like what you've done, and you don't want to just give somebody a giant spreadsheet. I know that there's some memes out there about me and spreadsheets, but like when you give someone information, when you make a change, like, and they put it in front of you, things like how much ammo you used, how long you were alive, blah, because like, meaning even in like I wiped, how much damage did I do? It doesn't tell the whole story.
Grenade damage, ability damage, arc damage, all that stuff. I want to see all of it.
Yeah, and
like if you're trying to finely tune an arc, spreading build, you definitely want to see that. Like, how much did my grenade contribute? How much did the volt shot perk on my sidearm spread? All that stuff.
And right now we have healing builds. I mean, actually, you're going to have ammo generator builds, and like, so I know you can't solve for everything, but to me, it's way long overdue. And we haven't seen everything with Frontiers, so. We'll see. Maybe we'll get our wish, but all these things go hand in hand. I think as they add more build depth and stat archetypes for armor, and like we're just more into like we just want to see what I have on, and we need more loadouts, right? This would only add to it. It's like instead of 10, like we need like a better way to organize loadouts more easily. I feel like I'm constantly trying to figure out what I should overwrite and what I've saved and right?
Yeah, true.
I mean, we need all of it as always, but
I need to delete all button in my vault, and like all the things that are on my character that I have on me, it doesn't get deleted, but everything in the vault does. Because at this point, with like weapons getting their tiers and armor being entirely different, I really do feel like I would feel better and have more fun if I just deleted everything and just started again.
Yeah, and we're I would love for Bungie and even Destiny to be the first to do this. I think we're a ways out because of the costs and investment, but like intelligence is around the corner, right? AI, and like I'm very curious to see games like this that start to integrate those things like helping with your vault and other things that I think that we're not even thinking of that will make it a more
just to clarify, Fran's not talking about generative AI.
No,
those are different things. Before people get angry.
Yeah, it's a trigger word. People
there's different types of AI. Generative AI, boo, stinky.
I'm not talking about not using an artist to make a new. No, what I'm saying is if you've got 700 things in your vault, run just a basic. Find I know that Dim does some of this, but you know what I'm saying. Make some recommendations with AI based on like what I'm doing in the game, etc.
Yeah,
getting off tangent, but just. all of this stuff, I hope, is coming down the pike that makes it more just enjoyable with more layers of wax, if you will, to make things easier, less friction. But there was still the FAQ.
Here, there's not much in the FAQ. It's like, what's happening to your old armor? Nothing really, but they're changing the names and stuff, so it's like stuff's naturally going to change. Exotic armor, that's in the article that they put out today. And my vault is full, please help me. And
Yeah,
they're
that
like, we know, we're working on it.
That was the
there
thing
you
I
go.
wanted you to say. That was honestly, it's like, you know, I'm always complaining about it. So but here's the downside. It's the upside is they get it, and they do know, they're like, outside of adding more space, an option, which we know like they've done before now, and they're always holding that in their pocket. They say real solutions that enable long-term storage of more desirable roles are really hard problems. But we're penciling into our roadmap at or around next year's second expansion, which, by the way, wouldn't hit until, like, I think December or possibly into the 2025. So there you go. Vault, keep it clean. It's your only option.
So there was a lot of exotic tuning coming in Revenant. I'm just gonna give you the one that I'm happy to see. And that is Raiju's harness. Because Raiju's harness and Blight Ranger both are kind of poopy name me.
Yeah.
But they both got changed, and I like Raiju's one a lot because they fully reworked it to work with Gathering Storm. So now when you activate Gathering Storm, it calls down lightning on all targets, jolting them, amplifies your allies, and defeating arc debuff targets grants a small amount of Gathering Storm back. So Raiju's, happy to see the change to Raiju's, and I think that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I don't use Blight Ranger, by the way, but that's the one that reflects, right?
No one does.
I know.
It's
Well,
so
because
bad.
of that, but they're changing that, and like I won't go really deep into it, but I like the fantasy of being, the like Blight Ranger reflecting the arc staff, and so they're changing that to give you like a boost to arc weapon damage, as well as it won't create the orbs anymore. It'll actually reflect projectiles. That will turn into refunded super energy and extend the duration of your super. You can also like put it away, kind of like I think Raiju's as well. And so anyway, they've got a lot of changes.
There's a lot. There's yes.
I was excited about a couple in here too. One of them being Sanguine Alchemy, which is kind of it's fitting for the
it is fitting
for the vampire season to get the Sanguine Alchemy buff here. This sounds actually pretty cool. So when you damage a target while you're standing in your rift, it marks them, and now you do 10% extra damage to anything that you've marked. So it's kind of like you're marking them for death and dishing out extra damage to them, which sounds like it'll have some good utility in PvE as well. And then also on top of that, it immediately bumps you up to ×4 surge if the weapon you're using is the same element as your super. So that's pretty cool too. A lot of utility in that. I was also very excited about Bad Juju.
Yes, me too. I was about to say, out of all the weapons, that's the one I was excited.
Yeah, I'm a Bad Juju fan as it is. So the fact that we're getting a considerable buff here. It says increased lifetime of String of Curses. It's kind of like Rampage. That buff is going from 3.5 seconds at base up to 5.5 seconds at base. So an extra 2 seconds to do more damage. And if you have the catalyst on, it takes all the way up to 7.5 seconds. So you're going from 3.5 to 7.5. A 4-second buff to that.
Yeah,
which
the base
is
of that's an
huge.
80% increase.
Yeah, so you're gonna have a lot more uptime on that perk, which means you're gonna get a lot more mileage out of it in stringing along kills on ads. So it's also gonna make it a lot better in PvP. And another big issue was that the mag size was so tiny, and now they're bumping it up to 36, so 9 more bullets in the mag, so 3 extra bursts. Love that. And
looking nice.
Something else they say, the weapon also appears to have become more hunted than it used to be. I don't know what that means. Is that a narcissistic aesthetic thing? I don't know.
Huh? Did I have it? Yeah, I did a lot of weapon lore back.
Do you remember anything about Bad Juju? Probably not.
No. Apart from it, I don't think I had a huge amount of lore. It was part of suspected to be a weapon of sorrow, but I don't think it was confirmed. I can't remember. It's
become more haunted.
Maybe it's becoming a weapon of sorrow.
Here's what I think is going to happen. Remember when Call of Duty added that like 1,000 decibel scream when you open up like was it chess or you know what I'm talking about in Warzone? Did you guys ever experience this? It was
No.
Never
awful.
played Warzone.
Oh, they did
No.
it for Halloween. It was like you'd open up and it'd be like a scary chest, just like scream, like, and it
Jump
was
scare?
tuned so loud. Yeah. So I think that's what's gonna happen. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be the loudest sound effect. You'll be like, "What? I'm putting this away." Anything else in the mini weapon tuning? I mean, I did think
Fighting
Lumina.
Lion's a pretty big one because it spawns a volatile burst on direct hits. So
Yeah.
that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, I never use Fighting Lion because I'm a PvE player, and so I think maybe that's what they're trying to address. I don't know. I assume nobody was really using Fighting Lion that much, but in PvE. So maybe they're
Slice works correctly in the Crucible. That's nice because I love Slice.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Slice is
Then
great because
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
because that is a status effect, or what's the word I'm looking for? But like you can go invis as, for example, as a hunter with stylish executioner. I think. I mean, I use Slice as that, an elemental buff or whatever. So that'll be nice. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying there's a lot. Like there's
Yeah,
there's
never
so
ending.
much in here that it's like there's exotic weapon tuning, there's exotic armor tuning, and there's a lot of it for each class and for each archetype. And then they've got legendary weapon archetype
Yeah.
tuning. They've got PvP weapon micro tuning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, and maybe it's understated here. We should like go rewind to the top of this, and what I would say is like we're used to this, a huge update, a bunch of plus and minus, but what it does mean is that Revenant, in particular, like it is gonna feel, I think, you're gonna feel a difference,
Yeah.
and that's a big update in that sense, and maybe we always get that, call it the season, 2 seasons after, the expansions launch kind of feel, but it's that time is my point. So there's a lot of little things that will give, build crafters and testers a lot to explore. Like, yeah, I think the rocket sidearms was part of this, right? Like, I think it's, reducing reserve ammo by 25% because, we all know we're using Indebted Kindness and all these amazing new rocket sidearms, rocket assisted sidearms as like our primary. Like, people were literally like, not only did they have that on as their primary, they put on a secondary, special ammo in another slot in their kinetic slot normally to to do that. So
yeah, because there is so much. Obviously we wanted to hit on kind of a very high level look at it and talk about the really exciting stuff coming with Frontiers and the exciting gameplay stuff with Revenant. But I mean, this comes out next week. So we will be able to talk about what all of this actually feels like, which I think will be better than me saying that there's a +6 stat bonus to something.
Right.
yeah, like autoloading hosts or reconstruction, they're making them a little more difficult to use. For example, like
They
those
are,
huge.
yeah.
Everybody uses those. It's gonna be interesting.
I'm gonna want to see how that feels to
Yeah.
use in the game. Yeah.
Exactly. I would also remind Myelin, this one's for you. Remember the discussion we had about what's going to feel like to play like all 3 weeks story or whatever at a time? And I think that's happening. Gonna be interesting.
That is, yeah. The first part
See
of
how
the
we like it.
episode, you get to play it
Placing a
all at
bet?
once. Do you want to place a
You know,
bet?
it's
Will it feel good or
Are we-
bad?
No, we're placing a bet. Is it 3 weeks of get data and return it, or are they going to reduce how many data patches we need to collect?
Or is it gonna like feel different to a season?
Or is it just going to feel go get data, bring it back, go get data, bring it back, go get data, bring it back? That's 3 weeks.
I mean, I think it's going to feel very similar to what we saw in episode
Because
Echoes.
I will say that with those kind of seasons and now those kind of episodes, doing all of those all at once feels really bad because doing the back and forth and doing the same thing over and over again gets really boring. So whereas before in other things it felt better to do it all at once because you were doing like story missions more so you're getting like that big kind of story drop all at once. So I'm curious which side of the coin Revenant's gonna fall.
That was the bet, Like what
Yeah.
I said
So
was,
let's
I
make a
don't-
bet.
I don't-
70 subs.
What? No, absolutely not.
That's a really weird number.
It's a lot of money.
There's a lot.
5 subs.
I think, well, for two things. I brought this up as I know we're going to move on for a specific reason. One, it is happening. It's one of the big changes as well that, wasn't recapped here. But how will it feel to do 3 weeks at a time? We're like, honestly, you're still going to be going back and forth. We know they're cognizant of it, though. Question is how and when will they, make it feel better? But what I like about their updates, and if you watch this live stream, and I just want to give them credit for, it was Allison, I think, on the narrative team there. We've seen a few times now.
She's
but
great.
what you're hearing from Bungie a lot now, and I think it's good. They're doing it in the right way, which is, so what they say about that, going back and forth to the table, she says, it drives us nuts. And that to me, I've talked to a lot of developers over the years and listened, and like what you forget as a fan, and it's not your job to remember, you're paying for this stuff, but this stuff drives them nuts as much as you sometimes. It's
I
the amount
believe
of
hearing,
time.
Fran, that it was a technical limitation, and that's why they had to do it that way. But they also do not like it.
Yeah.
Is what I've
Interesting.
heard in the
Yeah,
past.
and that's the point. There's all these little things. It's also how long it takes to get into production, and are you going to work on this, or you always are prioritizing. And so, anyway, my point is they're aware of it. Let's see if it shows up at all in Revenant, but otherwise, going into the future, it is important to them to fix that feeling of going back and forth. So
Yeah, and they did say during that live stream that like it is going to get less and less as we go through each episode, with the goal of it being essentially gone by when Apollo launches. So Revenant probably will be more so towards the back and forth kind of thing. But I'm hoping that the story is like good, because I think the problem is Vex are just boring. I'm sorry. I freaking hate Vex. They bore the absolute crap out of me. This should at least be a little bit more interesting, perhaps, of a theme for the episode.
A theme, yeah. I mean, obviously, like episodes or seasons that come directly after a big expansion are usually pretty light on like story and theme. Like they're usually a bit weaker than the following seasons. So this will be a true test of like how the story's been going and how they've been going with all the changes to Bungie and all the feedback they've gotten, all that kind of stuff. So, and then the delivery of everything in a single day or a single sitting should be a good reflection of like where they're at storytelling wise. Now you're making me download Destiny again. I don't have enough room in my hard drive. It's literally why I got rid of it.
Oh my goodness.
I know a lot of people that do that, who they're not like done with Destiny. It's just they're like, I'm not playing it for at least a couple months. I need to get rid of it for a bit.
Right.
It's gonna be nice when everything's in the cloud, one day. But yeah, honestly, there's a lot more. I think we'll have to probably cover more Destiny too as it launches. Again, the episode next week.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll be able to tell you exactly how that first act story feels like in one sitting, essentially. We'll see.
God, I hope it's good. Fuck me.
TV, you said before the show that you've got 200 hours into Space Marine so far.
Yeah, I do. I do. I really love the combat loop in that game. It's just so rewarding. It's so good, especially once you get your characters maxed out, you get your weapons leveled up, and you get access to some of the really cool build crafting stuff and these really great interactions between your melee weapon and your class, and it just really comes alive, and it makes you feel super powerful when you're like, I posted a video today and I was like, I don't know, this clip has nothing to do with what I'm talking about in the video, but it's going to the video because it's so cool. But it's just a moment where I'm literally the last guy standing, both my teammates are dead. I'm waiting on the Warhawk to come pick me up. And I'm on the helipad, and there are no fewer than 75 enemies in a circle around me.
Sick.
And I took no red health damage. I stood there for 3 minutes last minute, just chopping, blocking, and chopping. You know what I mean? And it was, you just feel like an absolute god. You know what I mean? And it's such a good feeling. And that the game is so good at making you have those moments. But it's also really punishing too. Like there's times where you're like, holy cow, I went from full out to freaking dead in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's got that rubber banding effect, you know.
You're pretty much like, oh yeah, you're pretty much always on like I'm almost dead and somehow recover, or yeah.
Yeah, it
If you
doesn't
don't
take
get your
long
parries.
to if you kind of lose concentration, I feel like for a second,
Everything goes downhill real quick.
sometimes when
Yeah.
I'm playing this game, I'm kind of like I'm thinking about something else, you know, because it's kind of got that strike thing from Destiny where you run through the same missions over and over again. I
Yeah.
will say I feel like the combat at this point is just it's like it's engaging enough that like I'm not really thinking about like the story of the mission or like running through the mission as fast as I can like I would a Destiny mission. But man, like it's so tense like because you just have to be like kind of managing your like kind of your abilities and like the way you get your health back in a way that it's just like really engaging. Like I really like this game. It's really
You
fun.
got to be locked in. And to your point, we're also getting a brand new operation in the next couple of weeks sometime too. So they
Yeah.
didn't say when, but they're like in October, yeah, we got a brand new operation we're adding to it. It's another Tyrannid one. We've got a new enemy that's going to be introduced with that as well. And we're supposed to be getting another new operation before the end of the year. We get Horde mode next year. Like they have a full content roadmap of stuff that's coming, and
Yeah.
Horde mode especially has people really pumped too. So.
Yeah. I was looking at the roadmap. That's a perfect segue. I was going to ask you about it. So Horde mode is like season 4, I guess, in 2025. Season 3 has something called the Battle Barge expansion, which I guess that's like the HQ where you.
Yeah, it's like your social hub.
So you'll just have a bigger social hub.
Oh, really?
They've already added on to that too, just since launch. They added
they?
What
like a
have they
new
added?
they added a sparring room. Like if you wanted to go, like if you were waiting on a third to join up, and you and your buddy are like, let's go down to the sparring room. Show me your new gun. Like show me the damage output on that thing now that you got it up to relic tier. Oh, you blew me away in one shot. Dude, that's so cool. Here, check this out. Let me do this. You know what I mean? So it's
That's
just
nice.
fun.
Yeah, they're adding PvE prestige ranks. This is in 2025. So
Yeah, so you
that's-
can then reset the progress on your weapons and your classes and get. We don't know what the benefit of that is going to be yet. If it's going to be purely cosmetic or performance based, we're not sure. But
nice.
they've got plans.
My biggest thing, I only played the game for 20, 25 hours or so, and not because I wouldn't want to play more. I was like, I can't grind this right now. I got too many games in my backlog. But the biggest thing for me was matchmaking, and I'm wondering how you feel about it. I haven't got to ask you. Of like, I just felt like, man, how do we keep having games that are so dependent on matchmaking? But then it's like I'm getting, kicked immediately or standing around, and like there's no. Do we know if there's any? First of all, how do you feel about the matchmaking, especially now that you're out there all the time?
Sure.
And secondly, do you want to see any changes with it?
Yeah,
are there any?
There's plenty to mention there. So first and foremost, they have actually made a number of modifications to the matchmaking system since launch. They now have it set is a new setting as well where you can put it to private, where you're like, listen, I don't even want it to matchmake. I'm just going to go on a lower difficulty and go in by myself with
Nice.
AI teammates and work my way through it that way. You can do that now too. You don't. It doesn't force the matchmaking on you anymore.
They're trying to improve the AI teammates too, right?
They've done patches to improve their performance as well and how helpful they'll be and actions that they'll take. They've made changes to server stability and all that stuff too. And they have more changes on the horizon. They just put out an update like a blog post this week where they're like, one of our primary goals is to make the matchmaking experience smoother.
Good.
And they're like, this is like on the top of our list. So anytime now, we're looking to get you some changes. So it's already at the forefront of the conversation, and they've already made some changes. But on top of that, like one of the things that's just so cool is I've been doing all this content for the game, and I just like, you know what, I'm going to make my own LFG Discord community for this game.
Oh.
And I just started plugging it in the videos. Like, if you're ever looking for people to play with, because I'm looking for people to play with sometimes too, and I'm trying to grind out my levels and level up guns so I can review them and stuff. So, so I just made this little Discord community. I thought it would be like, I might get 20 people. We got like almost 200 people in there now.
Awesome.
Gaming morning, afternoon, and evening. They've created their own little subculture too. I love it. They're thriving. So I still matchmake from time to time, but usually I just pop in the Discord and all I'll do is I'll just put my join code in there. And it's seconds before people are like, heck yeah, brother, let's slay some Tyranids for the Emperor. Yeah.
That right there is one of my favorite things, is that because in the story they use brother like constantly, right?
Brother.
Everybody's calling each other brother. So now the community is constantly calling each other brother, which kind of creates this like kind of friendliness to the community.
Yeah.
Like
it's brotherhood.
I don't know how long that'll last. Maybe I just haven't seen like the most toxic parts of the community, but it feels like a really fun and inviting community right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's funny how both Helldivers and this now to the same type of degree kind of nailed that, like, you know, the RPG vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I don't know, maybe it's not a coincidence that they're basically both like, you know, kind of blowing a bunch of stuff up and serving for like a higher purpose. And
right.
I think it's.
Have you played much PvP, TV?
I actually don't play much of the PvP. I've
tried.
barely.
It was laggy.
I didn't have any lag, but it just felt like a novelty to me. Some people love it. Some people are like, no, this is my thing in this game. You know, which is fine.
Because you got to regrind PvP, right? Like it's a different stats than your PvE.
It's its own progression system, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Which is cool too. You know.
I like arena stuff, but yeah, maybe something was wrong. This was like the week of launch, and I'm on PC. I don't know if you are, but it was just. I was like, I'm not playing a PvP game where it's this lag. That's not happening. And I
played some, and it wasn't bad. So maybe it was just.
I'll check it.
Yeah, it was fine for me too. When
some people really get down with it. I just have to be honest. I've got PvP fatigue. Like I've just been making PvP content for almost 10 years straight, and I'm like, I just kind of want to kill some other smack around some other stuff.
Anytime I hear like there's a new competitive game or there's a new like live servicing competitive I'm just like, get it away from me.
Yeah.
I have no interest at all.
That's like me in story and lore. Are you gonna do more for Monster Hunter? Shut up and let me enjoy the game. I don't give a shit about the story.
Like famous actors that keep getting typecast as comedy. Like, I'm not gonna be funny anymore. It's not. I'm done with it. I'm serious, guys. Then you go on. You become an Academy Award-winning actor in a new role.
You know, TV, since you're making content for it, you must be seeing like view numbers. And I was wondering like how is the community staying engaged with the game? Like, is it?
Yeah, like even if you look at the Steam charts, and even Saber this week with their blog update, they came out and they said there are more people playing the game right now than we thought would be playing the game right now, which is one of the things that's leading to server issues. Really? And they were like, this is a wonderful problem to have. Thank you so much for enjoying our game and getting your friends to enjoy our game. So it does have a really vibrant community still. And part of that is honestly just, I think the way that progression happens, it takes a lot of time, but the reward for getting something to relic tier is like, oh my gosh, this is a completely different way to play the game. So people kind of get hooked on that feeling of, you know, opening up new possibilities and new doors after grinding. And now they want to do it on their tactical, and then they want to try it on their heavy, and then this other gun that they've never touched before. So I think that keeps people engaged. But yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of I don't careful the way I say this because I don't want it to sound like, oh, look at me. No, but I like the community has just continued to show up day after day after day after day. You know what I mean? That's really cool.
Good.
I was talking to one of the people who work in my local board game shop, and they were saying that they can't keep the Warhammer figurines on the shelf right now. So many people got into it from playing Space Marine 2 and then came over, and now they're buying like the board game as well. And now they've got like a mini version of the board game for like $40 at Target, which I think is getting sold out everywhere. It comes with Titus, Captain Titus, as a figurine.
Oh, okay.
So it could kind of be your first one.
That's
Not
cool.
Lieutenant Titus, Captain Titus.
I think he got demoted.
He did get demoted.
Yeah. But yeah. Like it's kind of going both ways, because like the Warhammer community is really having fun with the game. The video game community is having fun with the Warhammer community. Like it's kind of a fun.
They got to be super happy with this one in particular.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
would
it's not
think,
that
right?
Warhammer wasn't already quite big and has been around for decades. It's successful, but
Yeah.
to get that synergy you just talked about, like it's hard sometimes, right? You get a bad game that comes out in your franchise, and people are like,
Oh, yeah.
that sucks, you know?
Yeah.
And so everybody's got to be
Star
super
Wars.
happy that they
Mm.
made the
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun how that happens, even to Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they didn't do as well as they probably hoped with Dark Tide, so
Mhm.
this is probably a
True,
big
yeah.
win for them.
But maybe it'll be a boon. You know, I've always wanted to try Dark Tide, because I like the fantasy side.
Yeah.
And it
I love it.
looks nice.
I think
too.
it's great.
No, that's
Yeah,
the
it looks
Warhammer. That's the
wicked.
40K side. Dark Tide is still the 40K side.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Oh,
Vermintide was the
Wait, say that
fantasy
again?
side.
oh, Vermin. Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
I mixed it
Yeah,
up.
there's a
I am
hey,
not.
it happens. There's a lot.
I'm
Heresy.
not a Warhammer
There's a lot of
expert.
Warhammer out there.
There's a lot of Warhammer.
I had to start painting these things so I can understand them.
True.
There it is. I knew it.
We
Briar,
gotta
that's
have it
looking
every
real
week.
nice, dude. Oh,
Briar's War Crafts. War and Crafts.
it actually great little moment. Can you hold that up again? Let me see that. It's a segue. Looks right. These guys look a little bit like StarCraft, Terran. A little
Oh
bit,
yeah,
huh? Look at that blue.
StarCraft definitely was based
So-
like the factions were based
Yeah.
off of Warhammer.
I'm bringing it up because I believe it was in some interviews with Jason Schreier, a reporter for Bloomberg, had heard about there is somewhere out there may be some kind of StarCraft first person or third person shooter or otherwise. It was just shooter. But I only bring it
right.
up because I was like, if you look at Space Marine 2, I don't know if I'd already said, oh man, that would just make a great model for StarCraft. So bring it on. I would
Yeah.
like more of this and in the StarCraft world, and that's just a rumor, but I'm hoping it's out there.
Yeah, this is new too. It's not like the old Ghost rumor that was going around forever.
Right.
StarCraft Ghost.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, StarCraft Ghost there was a couple things, but StarCraft Ghost was, it was in development. They
real.
actually released
It just
some
never came out.
videos, but then it got canned, and then I think they were trying to reprise it for a while. And Blizzard has like crazy, history. They're always developing something in the background. I mean, remember that Overwatch came out of Project Titan, right? Which was this mix of their experiences. And anyway, I'm just saying, like Space Marine 2, I hope that StarCraft can fill in some blanks as well.
Chad's mentioning too, because I think I watched like a YouTube video on this. Isn't like StarCraft, Warhammer, and WoW all kind of linked together? It had some like common development cycle, which is why there's like a lot of shared aesthetics between each franchise.
So somebody told me this live on my stream, and all I would do is I'd pencil it in under you got to do the research. I started to look, is that people were saying, oh, they were supposed to do a Warhammer 40K game, and then they just did StarCraft instead. And like, apparently that's not, so maybe wrong, but there's like, this is like one of those rumors apparently that's persisted. There's inspirations from aliens, of course, in the game and other stuff. And like, I don't know if it is exactly what people are saying, but they all, I mean, look at Helldivers and Space Marine and like they certainly share.
Yeah.
But you could say that about a lot of
Like Warhammer is not exactly the most original of IPs either.
Yeah,
like
it's like
the
saying
amount of stuff they've stolen from Star Wars, Dune,
right?
Like just a ton of different things. Tolkien, like
and whatever the case, I would just say put it aside because like, are you saying that Blizzard and their artists and everything are not insanely talented? Because like moot point. I don't know what the facts even are. I don't care because StarCraft,
that definitely looks like a StarCraft Space Marine, right?
StarCraft is and was, amazing in its time, and like I love like the world, and like for me it's iconic, of course, growing up in those eras playing. But I don't care where it comes from. So I'm saying, bring it on. And if the Zerglings would copy James Cameron and those, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean the Zerglings and the Tyranids, I mean, look like alien.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's more likely, the inspiration for those. But anyway,
What have you been playing, guys?
Fran's been talking about Witchfire.
Yeah, I want you all to talk about your loves. You need time to get all that love out.
I do.
Yep.
So thank you for letting me. I brought it up briefly last week, but if you
looks
don't
like
know
we're out of
anything
time, folks. So
about Witchfire, okay, here's what you need to know: it's Dark Souls with guns, it's first-person shooter, and it's got roguelite elements, and you have extraction too, like Tarkov, something like that. You're probably
so this
confused.
is kind of closer to the hunt or hunt than any other kind of extraction thing? Is that what
Not
you put it
PvP
in?
though, right?
No, yeah.
It's a
So it's
PvE game.
exclusively
Oh,
single
extraction,
player.
but PvE.
Yeah, so let me
Mhm.
back up. That was a joke to go through. But yes, this has been early access. You're like, haven't I heard of that? It came out exclusive to Epic like a year ago, but it's got like a roadmap of early access, and it's a very small team. The Astronauts is the name of the company. You might know from Painkiller and Bulletstorm, and so been around, but it's a small team, and that's where like. You almost wouldn't know it. It is a very high polish experience.
I'm looking
And
at
It
some
so-
looks
footage,
really
looks good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
watching KJ Hovey stream it not too long ago, and I was like, this actually looks pretty cool.
yeah. So all I would say, unless you don't, unless you want to wait until it's out in full next year, because it will be. They're going to add things, but if you're looking for something to play, and you like first-person shooters, and you like sort of the curiosity and mystery, I would say old school gaming to a point of like, wait, what is this? And what does this do? And like, it's got all of that. And they are going to be adding stuff though. So you can get in early access now, but it does not feel early access overall. It's brutal. It needs balancing and some other stuff. But let me tell you what the game is. So it is literally, to me, it's first-person shooter. It's single player only. And it basically is like Dark Souls with like green and blue Destiny guns that you then like quest upgrade. So there's not loot drops. What you're doing is you're actually like crafting at a table, a set of spells and guns, and not like tons, like just a few at a time. And it's a huge grind just to get like a new spell or a new gun that then you're like, wait, okay, first I got to get 200 kills with this gun. And then I'm like, oh, this perk, like, it adds like burning, or it does like other cool stuff. But anyway, it really feels, the gunplay is why I bring that up. It's like that old school, like very raw feeling, like blue guns in Destiny, if that makes sense. But I think it's a good thing. And they say themselves they were inspired by Destiny and Dark Souls and other stuff. And you feel that in the game. So what happens is you go in, you're in your little hub where you can cook up some spells, grab just some weird stuff, frankly, from it's like a hub area. Yeah, like the battle barge, right? But then what you do is you go through a portal into a zone, and in that zone you're making a but it's kind of like it's a little mini map, right? It's not linear, it is somewhat open, and you want to go and you're clearing areas of enemies, and with each area you clear and it drops like a big crystal on the ground, and then you grab that and you get, it lights up a row of perks. So, right, imagine a little table of 7, rows, and you're going to go through and start to unlock a roguelite temporary build. And so you're choosing while you're in that area,
really?
and you have to extract out if you want to get your effectively souls out. Souls is XP. It's actually called Witchfire, which is the name of the game. So yeah, you're trying to get your Witchfire back out. That's mainly it. But what's happening is those zones, there's not like a ton of them. You are going to be retreading a lot of the same ground. I think that's where you see the indie kind of feel. But I was surprised that I went from like, oh man, it's like going back to the same area, to like, wait. So it does this thing where you're like, wait, oh, it's got like a little dungeon, like Elden Ring, or Dark Souls. And then, oh, there's this tower. And then I'm like, I can't touch that yet. But like, and then you go in the tower and you're like, wait, I did this, but then there's even more. You go deeper. You're like, wait, what is this? And then you're going to go to the next area and all this stuff starts to happen. But then the enemies start to evolve and you get new enemies. The challenge gets insane. You get spanked.
Is this a single player game?
It's all completely single player.
Okay.
And so all I can say is if you're looking for something to play, I would not delay it. At a minimum, go add Witchfire to your wish list. It's a really cool game. Again,
Is it an Epic Store exclusive, or is it on Steam as well?
no, so it just, I skipped that part. I'm sorry. It was an Epic Store exclusive. It just launched on Steam now a year later with all these improvements. And so what you're seeing is it's now, of course, getting that Steam traction. Steam is, of course, the PC platform. So it's only on PC.
Right.
There's no announced plan for console, but I do think it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, and hopefully by the time it comes out next year. But I got to tell you, I went from like, let me check this out, I've heard about it, to like, again, it feels so good. And you're making builds. You have sort of classes like in Dark Souls or Elden Ring. When you start, you're like, wait, do I want to be the saint, or do I want to be the rogue or the whatever? And so that basically starts you with a few pieces of equipment, right? That could be a single spell and a single type of gun. And then, of course, your stats. So you have stats on top of this: vitality, endurance and stamina and stuff like that you're building into. And but as you level up, it's interesting. Things just kind of keep unraveling that you're like, wait, I haven't seen this before. What is this?
So if you die, what you lose your witch souls? Is that right?
Yeah, but you can go back
Witchfire.
and get them. Mm-hmm.
And what do you use Witchfire to do to upgrade your gear?
Upgrade your stats, actually. So it's really just XP that you're getting.
So do you drop your guns and stuff when you die, or is
No.
it just that? Right.
No. So that's what's nice is that's
What's
the rogue light.
Yeah, what is the roguelite element if you're not like starting again when you die?
Well, so like I said, you do have temporary perks on these runs.
Yeah.
So you have
Okay,
a
okay.
temporary build, that you're going to lose all of that and have to rebuild that up for the run. And then honestly, like I'm still trying to figure out, I'm like, wait, am I losing anything else there? Because there's other things like, you're picking up, it has strange coins, by the way. It has a vendor that's kind of like Zur. And you can buy temporary potions and but it at its heart, I really feel it's got this Dark Souls OG kind of curiosity and brutality to it that you're like, dang, that ramped up. But things start to happen. You're like, what's behind this door? What is this about? And yeah, like I just got caught in the loop. And so you're like,
The aesthetic is so sick too.
And
it does look very good. Yeah,
nice. Yeah,
it's got very positive on Steam right now.
Like a gothic kind of. What would you say? Like a pre-Renaissance. I don't know.
Yeah, but then it's like mixed with fantasy
it's like
too.
a plague doctor.
Yeah.
Time kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's real cool looking.
It's good. I trust me. If you're looking for something to play, you will. But it's a brutal little loop. But yeah, I got sucked into it, and I found myself. I'm like, why am I thinking about playing this? And again, maybe to end my thoughts here, it's like you have, a gun that you get the first perk, and then you're on the second mission for it. It's like kill 200 of these enemies using the first perk, which is like you have to charge up. Like for example, I like this sort of snub-nosed sniper. It's a bolt action. And you charge it up and you perfectly time it, of course, to get like a perfect shot. But you have to get a certain number of those before you unlock the next one. But you need, you're investing currencies to unlock this stuff too. So it's a grind, but it is not a loot grind. Again, you're not getting drops of like weapons. You're actually making them at the crafting table. But you have spells that you can equip, and a ring, a relic, and a fetish, it's called. So you have sort of 3 artifacts to choose from. Yeah, and all these have perks, and oh, dude, there's like lore and stuff in there too. So small team, but man, it plays real polish. So shout out to that team. I can't wait to see where they go in the next.
How's it run?
Really well, but I'm on PC. It's only on PC.
Yeah,
I believe, to me, it looks like it's just like a really high polish Unreal Engine 4 experience, but it's cooking, and it's got DLSS already and all the basics. So awesome. It runs awesome for me. I'm running like 200 frames with DLSS.
Nice.
Yeah, it'd be awesome if somebody from the show checked it out and like checked me on it.
I have a code for it.
Yeah.
Because I had responded to something they had posted, and I was like, this actually looks really cool. And this is how I know that they at least know Destiny to some degree. Because they responded to me, and they're like, I don't know who runs their social account, but they're like, sorry to say we don't have sidearms, but we do have machine pistols, so you might like it.
Yeah, it is a sidearm, by the way. I have that. I have one of, I don't know if there's more than one, but it looks to like a sidearm, feels like a sidearm to me. So
I had a good laugh at that.
The sidearm, like ready position, looks very similar to Destiny. I mean, run with the gun. Yeah, like some of the animations look pretty similar.
Yeah, the animations. I mean, they're as good as in Destiny with, like I said, those sort of green and blue guns. Yeah, if you pick it up on the Epic Game Store by chance, you can use code Fran Mirabella. You have a creator code on there. But no, at the very least, wish list it. Again, I'm always a big supporter of indies, but also just just the gameplay loop is so much fun, and it's nice to see. And go support them. They were bragging they were getting some traction, on Steam, even though it's in early access. So they seem happy so far.
Good.
And I'm not sponsored by them. Just full disclosure, I'm not sponsored by them. As excited as I am about the game.
Cool. I've been addicted to just replaying Monster Hunter World or playing it really for the first time again.
Yep.
I've gone through the base game, gone through Iceborne now, doing my side quests.
How are you enjoying Iceborne?
I definitely see the criticisms of Clutch Claw, for sure. Now that I kind of understand it a little bit more of what you need to do to start doing damage to do more optimal damage against monsters. I'm still enjoying it for sure, but I'm glad Clutch Claw's not coming back in Wild, to put it that way. It's fine. But
What's Clutch Claw do?
You kind of like grapple hook onto the monster and tenderize an area so you can do more damage to that area. And if you don't, you do less damage. So you have to start a lot of DPS by doing that. Kind of adds an extra step, and often like when there's higher level monsters that are like enraged very often or just have a lot of movement, like it can be hard to get their Clutch Claws on.
There was some pretty decent news for Wild. So one of the big things was that 16-player lobbies are going to be in Wilds. So in World, you could go to the Gathering Hub and you could have like massive amounts of people join you. In Rise, you could only have 4. Like it was the hunting party is 4, the amount of people you can have in a lobby is 4.
Right.
So in Wilds, it's going back to 16, and you're going to be able to see everyone in the base camp, which is new because normally you had to go to the Gathering Hub, which you have to like load into this place to see everyone. Now it's in the base camp, which is of course like seamlessly connected to the rest of the world. So that was new because we didn't know about that at all until now.
It's
we
closer to like a Destiny tower where you're not like a specific area you have to be in to see everyone. Like everyone's just kind of in your tower, in your hub.
Yeah. And you can still seamlessly leave. I assume it's going to work like instances in Destiny, right? Like if you're on patrol, you're with this group of people and then you kind of travel to the next area and you go to a different instance because you're not going to be running around out in the open world with 16 people.
Right.
It's
That'd
in
be
the
sick
base camp.
though.
It would, but also I don't want that.
No?
I think maybe if there was like a specific mode where it was that, but then we're encroaching on MMO territory, and I don't want that. Personally, I don't want that. I want Monster Hunter. The experience. The other big thing was right now you can get attack-based decorations which give you skills like attack boost, crit boost, fire element up or whatever. And you can put that on your armor. You can also put that on your weapons. In Wilds, you're only going to be able to put that on your weapons. Anything that is an offensive skill, an attack-based skill, only goes on your weapons. So that is a completely different switch up of how things go. Because the way that it works now in current Monster Hunter, I can run max weakness exploit, max crit boost, max fire boost. I can run so many things that I don't have to make a decision about what things to run because I don't have to make the decision. I can have it all. But unless they're giving us like 20 decoration slots on a weapon, which I highly doubt, you're going to have to make some actual choices about what kind of attack boost skills you're going to want to build into.
Yeah, from what I've read and like heard people say, it's going to be less about that kind of meta build of like just massive crit chance, right? Like massive crit chance, massive attack damage, and more probably building into the like weapon itself and what it's good at.
That's partly why they're doing it, because you do have 2 weapons and you can switch between them. So they want it to be like when you switch weapons, you don't just have a bunch of wasted stats. So they're also doing something with like charms or accessories where when you switch weapons, that will also not be a wasted stat. We don't really know what that is yet. My theory is that your charm is going to have like weapon specific skills that don't fit into like the attack based skill. So for example, guard up, where your guarding is better. It's not like an attack skill, but it is a weapon specific skill. You don't want that on a weapon that can't guard. So if you have a charm that has guard, but then it's also got a different weapon specific skill on it. It means that you can switch between them and not waste the stat. And then all of your attack stuff is on the weapon.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how they're going to manage two weapons with like the build crafting aspects of it. This is obviously like half of the story, right? With what you're getting on your weapons, with the decorations. Because something similar happens in like Once Human, where you have your armor is so geared to a single weapon, you end up having like one primary weapon, and then you have like a support weapon that marks a target or like applies burn. Like you don't actually use it for DPS, but I mean, Monster Hunter, I don't think it's going to be like that, right? I imagine they want you to use both weapons to their full extent.
They want you to use both, yeah.
So
yeah, their whole plan is like, how do we make it to where you want to switch weapons and you feel good about switching weapons, and you have builds
you're not at a
for both those
disadvantage
weapons
every time.
Yep.
Right.
And I mean, so they have also stated that they are completely revising decorations. So at this point, we're just guessing.
Jeez.
We're just guessing what it's gonna be, because they're obviously gonna be doing something quite different for Wilds.
Yeah, and for people like from a new player's perspective, if you don't know what decorations are, they're like kind of like the end game grind in World, right? Like when you like min-maxing your build, there's slots on your armor that gives you extra stats, and you got to grind for that decoration, and then you slot it into your armor to bump certain stats, and it takes you to the next tier of like perks basically. So you can get like a plus 30 crit rate pretty much, or extra attack.
Yep.
So they're like redoing all of that. That's interesting.
Yeah, they said they're revising.
That's kind of the end game. That's the end game grind. So that's going to change.
We'll see what it's like in Wilds, because the end game grind is different in like every game. So we'll see.
Right. What was the end game grind in Rise?
That was your charms. So the charms were completely random, whereas in World you can craft a specific charm and you get random decorations. In Rise you got random charms, so you were just grinding for like the perfect combination on a charm.
Right. So this is like confirmation that the end game is going to be pretty much different in Wilds.
Yeah, it's probably going to be quite different, because I think people have had negative things to say about both of those systems. So we'll see what it ends up being.
Whenever I play World, everyone's like, welcome to the deco grind. I'm like, I don't know what you mean yet.
Well, it's not that bad if you play now, because they have events that are available all the time now, because the game's like done. So there's events that are specific for grinding specific decorations. So it will take you way less time to get them because of that.
Yeah, okay.
The other thing that we heard is, when we did the interview with the community managers, we asked about a quest board, and they were like, we're not talking about a quest board yet. Because I was kind of trying to ask them, like, what are you doing in Wilds to like make it to where the people that want to hunt in the OG way can just like do that, which a quest board is a part of that.
Select a specific monster and go hunt.
Yeah, going back to town, going to a quest board, selecting a target, going out on a quest, coming back to town. Like, can people do that? And they're like, we're not talking about that yet. Well, they finally confirmed there is a quest board in the settlement, which is the village where all of the local people live. There is a quest board there, so you can do that if you so wish.
Sure. I always kind of like that vibe, just because it feels very. It made the game feel very like anime. Fantasy character goes to the pub and grabs, like from the guild pub, grabs a quest off of the wall, and it's like, yeah, let's go knock this out real quick. Come back and have a drink and celebrate and get paid. Yeah, I always kind of like that vibe.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Also,
so you
like
can do
kind
that.
of suited the theme of like being a monster hunter as like select target, prepare for like the fight with monster, like understand the monster and what buffs and tools you need, and then go out and hunt it. So it's like obviously fits in with the monster hunting theme, and then which is different from like going out into the open world and just stumbling upon a monster and not being prepared for it.
Yeah, so now you can go out into the open world and do a certain amount of damage to a monster, and that will trigger a quest. You can also talk to Alma and select a target for a quest, or you can actually like go to the quest board in town and get a quest. So you can do all options are available to people.
I wonder if they're like run in parallel. Like I wonder if you can discover a monster in the wild before you would have a quest for it. Like if it rewards exploring the wilds more, like, oh, now I'll see like X monster, which I'm technically maybe not up to yet, or like I don't have a quest for yet, but I'll discover it in like the open world first and
Yeah,
then
I
get a
do.
quest for it.
So I do hope that the quest board, I actually do hope that it is different to what Alma, your handler, gives you. Because otherwise it's just like, yeah, it's just a thing you can go to, but it's the same as what Alma has. So it would be kind of nice if like Alma can like maybe because she's obviously guiding the story and giving you targets to hunt, but maybe the settlement quest board is like, this is the townspeople asking you to do something because you can kind of, protect them. So that would be cool if they're slightly different.
I imagine that will be because like world has, there's investigations are different from events, are different from like expeditions. Like I imagine there'll be synergy between them, but like some differences as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will see. I think pretty much the last thing was that they confirmed that you can rest to change the time of day. Because in
Oh,
Wiles,
nice.
you have different time of day and different weather, and there's different things that happen at different times of day and different weather. So, like, for example, the Woodwoods only go to the roof when it's nighttime during the plentiful period. So, if you couldn't rest to change time, you'd just be like,
Just waiting.
it's nighttime. Oh, look, it's the inclemency. Guess I can't do that today. So you'd just be waiting. And this is also really good for like, at the end game, a lot of people like to get like rare endemic life, and that only happens during specific times, specific weather. So it's going to be very, very nice towards the end, the later part of the games where you're like, okay, I just want to get this specific thing,
Right,
and you're
right.
not
You're
just
trying to
having
target.
to wait. Yeah, and it's kind of cool because you can look at like your weather forecast, right, and be like, okay, in about 20 minutes it's going to be this, so you can go rest and go to that weather period. So I think for me, I'll probably interact with the game in a very organic way initially. But then when I'm hunting for specific things or wanting to check a secret, that's going to be really nice.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was the big news. They're changing the way decorations work is big, and the 16 players is big.
Looking forward to that game coming out.
February 28th, I believe.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
I don't want to play any other game.
Well,
I really don't.
I'm jazzed about Veilguard by the end of the month.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is at the
it's a
end
good
of the
reminder.
month. Yeah, it is
What's
indeed.
that?
It's the
Right.
next Dragon Age game.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's Mass Effect. If Mass Effect was fantasy instead of
Yeah,
sci-fi.
pretty much.
That's a high bar.
Pretty much.
But no, yeah, it's looking good. Hope it delivers.
Anyone check out that new MMO?
No,
Throne and
Throne
Liberty?
and,
Yeah.
Nah.
I
it's
did
another
not.
Amazon.
I'm scared of
AKA New
MMOs.
World.
I don't want to
Yeah.
like them because
True.
I just don't want to get involved in something that's going to take that much time.
It's also a free to play, I think. Which again, I'm always worried about. Yeah, like how much of your time do they want? Do they want? But like,
That's
I
the
think
most deceiving name for anything ever.
Right.
Free
It's free to play, but there is a cost.
your
I mean, this is
life.
it's made by NC Soft, right? It's an NC Soft game, I think.
Did they develop it for? I mean, it's Amazon Games, right? So
Well,
I don't know
Amazon Games is
who-
what brings it to the West
publisher.
usually. It's not
Right.
like the developer.
Well, but they did develop New World, that's the only. Anyway, I think you're
Amazon
right though.
didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, it's NC Soft. So it's yeah, free to play NC Soft kind of game. Might be a little grindy. It's currently mixed on Steam, so
What else is
Yeah,
NC
I mean, I
Soft
saw a
releasing?
lot of like negative stuff about it. It either had a beta or an early play of it, specifically around combat and a fair bit of criticism. So I'm kind of surprised that I'm seeing it a lot now, like in my feed again. So maybe they've made changes or otherwise. Because at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is not really going to go anywhere, just from the general sort of feedback I was seeing. And then now it's kind of sticking around a bit. So just thought if anyone had checked it out or not.
Yeah, no, I do believe that it was getting like, good and decent feedback that people were liking it. To Briar's point, like if you're looking for an MMORPG, And yeah, you're right, Watts. Like they did that with Lost Ark. That was, I forget which developer, and then like this is a different one. They're really invested in MMORPGs as a publisher. But then yeah, they have New World Eternum. That's what was on my mind, which they actually do with their internal team. And I think that's the one that's supposed to do, isn't it like the Lord of the Rings official one? Or maybe not that team, but it is Amazon Games itself as the developer that is also, I believe,
They're doing a
working on
Lord of the Rings official MMO.
Yeah. That unless
scared.
it got canceled.
I'm
But
scared.
anyway, they're all in on MMORPGs. That's their thing. So.
You guys want to do some Twitter questions? Wrap it up.
Yeah.
Hit me.
All right. Cobalt says, "Hey DCP, I just tried my friend's homemade pumpkin spice ice cream last night. Oh, I bet that's good.
Ooh, wow.
And it was
Ooh, yeah.
delicious. If you could add pumpkin spice to one other treat, what would it be?"
Man, ice cream sounds pretty freaking
It
good.
does sound pretty good.
I mean,
Like
wait, though.
pumpkin ice cream with like vanilla as well together.
Right?
Oh yeah.
It's already
That
added to
sounds
so many
good.
things, though. I don't understand. The
It
question. Are
is,
you
it
asking us
is,
to choose
like-
our favorite or
It's
pick something
probably-
that's never been done?
I don't
I'm
know. Maybe
struggling to
I'll
think
pick
of something that's not
been done.
pumpkin spice flavored.
Pumpkin spice
Oh.
bourbon.
Oh, okay.
It's
They
been
must have
done, I'm
that.
sure.
Well, yeah, they're pumpkin spice old fashions. So.
Yeah, that's
what about
what I-
pumpkin spice eggnog?
Mm-hmm.
It's been
I'm in.
I mean, it's been done, I'm sure.
I'm there.
Yep,
I'm gonna
you can
Google
put
each one
put
of
pumpkin
these.
spice of anything Briar, and he'll go, oh yeah.
Yeah, I like pumpkin spice.
Ah, yeah.
Smart
Oh,
Farms,
yeah.
pumpkin spice flavored eggnog. Okay, next.
Pumpkin spice creme brulee.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
definitely been done.
definitely.
Yep, that's coming up.
Just pumpkin
It's the
spice
thing,
sugar
it's
cookies.
So
That'd be good.
Probably a thing. Yep.
Probably.
so good.
Briar's like, I'll put it on a taco. I don't know.
Yeah, a little sprinkle. They should make. That's what they should make. A little pumpkin spice like flavor sprinkle. You know, like
Here,
a
I got one
like
for
cinnamon,
you.
but pumpkin spice.
Oh yeah.
If this hasn't been done, it would be some kind of like pumpkin spice hot sauce. So like spicy.
okay, I feel you.
So
I
like
feel
a
you.
curry, like
Okay.
a, you know, like those Thai curries that have pumpkin, and so it would be like a hot sauce that plays into it, but
Mm.
super hot pumpkin spice hot sauce.
Super hot though. I don't know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Oh,
I
yeah,
like
you're
hot.
speaking
I
my
like
language,
hot.
dude.
Yeah.
How about
Crazy
like
hot.
you know how like you get that Hershey's like chocolate that you can like squirt on ice
Mm.
cream? What if they just made
Yeah.
that but pumpkin spice?
Like syrup, like a pumpkin
Yeah,
spice syrup.
pumpkin
for
spice
ice cream
syrup.
toppers.
That would break your local supermarket. That's a great idea. Everybody would be. They must have like that's like it's gotta be.
It's
It
gotta
probably
be
is
a
already
thing, right?
happening.
Because you can put that on in coffee. You can put it in
There
ice
you go.
cream.
Yeah.
You put it on anything.
Yeah.
Lone
I'm
Wolf
seeing if they have it.
says
Pumpkin spice seasoning. Yep. There it is. Some
They got it?
spiceology.
But
You got
pumpkin
it from
spice hot sauce. Let's see.
Spiceology.
Lone
It's been
Wolf
done.
says, "Have any of you guys tried Witchfire?" Oh, here you go.
Oh,
Best
there
way
you
to
go.
describe
Never
it
heard
would
of
be
it.
a first-person Revenant with roguelite elements. This game will kick your butt just like any Souls-like, but it's been super fun and borderline addicting. Game's only in early
Okay.
access, but definitely worth checking out. There we go.
Fran, what's your Twitter
didn't-
handle?
That was not
Is
me.
it Space
and I
Wolf?
did not read that.
It's like just in case they don't let me talk about this. I mean,
I'm glad I'm not the only one that's got it.
yeah, it's definitely making me wanna
Yeah.
check it out. I've been interested in it. It's just,
Mhm.
but now,
good-
yeah, I think now might be a good time.
The
Like-
good news is in 2 or 3 hours you kind of get the gist of it. But at that point, yeah, that's all you
It's
got
on
to do.
sale on
sample it.
Steam right now too. It's like 10% off.
Yeah.
Jesse Kruger says, "Am I the only one who thinks we got the worst 10-year anniversary event in the history of video games? We got to open 5 chests at the tower for an ugly armor set and killed an ogre in Skywatch 1,000 times for an emblem and a title. Do you think more was originally planned?"
Probably.
I don't know. Yeah, normally 10-year
Probably.
anniversaries are pretty big in games.
Yeah.
Like, because,
I
you know,
didn't play it.
Bungie's, 30th was a way bigger, thing. But they made a
It was
whole,
way
like,
bigger.
pack of content for that has stuck around.
Yeah, I was
so-
just thinking, what was that celebration where there was like the dungeon and the armor set and everything? That was the
Yeah,
30th.
that was
wasn't
their
it?
And the whole
Right.
Zur thing, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, I would have thought for 10 years, and like recall, like the original roadmap was leaked to be the 10-year journey. We got the wrap up of the main arc and story. So I would be willing to bet that but as they had to look at the final shape and everything else that's been rocking Destiny in terms of resources and marathon, and that they were like, we cannot be focused on an anniversary event, right?
Sure.
They had to choose, but
Bungie forgot their own anniversary and panicked.
Yeah.
Oh shit! 10
We've
years
all
next
been
week.
there.
What's the best thing they got at Walgreens?
We were the only ones that showed up at dinner. We're like, what's going on? Okay.
Ghost says, if you could get a Teft lecture about any topic, what topic would it be? Gaming or life related? I think I would need one about getting good in Elden Ring and how to perfectly fold laundry.
Oh man, a Teft lecture. And just as a reminder for new listeners or anyone, I don't know if was there a Teft lecture before he was like, look, Fran, we were playing.
That was the first one.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
Was where to place your tether.
Fighting. I was on Teft's team on his side, and like we were just having a hard time in Crown of Sorrow. We're like 18 hours in or whatever. He's like, look, your tether, it's gonna go right here. All right, not there, right here. Every time.
Oh, there.
And so that would, you're like, oh man, you got the Teft lecture. That's how it was born. So if that's context for if you want that heat,
Because Tefty was clearly done. He was done. That's why it ended up being the Teft lecture. It was nice, yeah, but it was like Tefty is done with Fran.
I agreed. Like I was just like at that point my brain was mush, and I was like, I don't even know where I'm shooting this tether. I'm so tired. Yeah, I don't know. You don't want one. That's the real answer.
Yeah. If you're getting one,
I mean, if
like,
it was helpful though.
You deserve it, I think.
I mean, I think I need a Teft lecture about how to deal with toddlers. I don't know if he's got any information on that, but I could definitely need some help.
One of the best things you can do is to take off the doorknob on their bedroom and flip it around so the lock is actually on the outside.
Lock them in.
Interesting.
Well, look, Leo's not tall enough to open the.
They get
open
tired
the doors
eventually. Okay, they'll be fine as long as they're in a safe room. It's okay.
Risk says, October is here, so what's scarier? A zombie that eats just your electronics, a werewolf that does that dog butt wiping thing on your freshly cleaned laundry, or a witch that's just underboiling Briar to the point where it's not meeting food safety standards. You son of a bitch.
Okay, good one right there.
I think
that's a hard choice because you don't want your electronics
werewolf.
to give it eaten.
It's got to be the electronics.
But I also don't want to have werewolf shit all over my clothes.
Yeah,
you can just
but clothes are cheaper to replace.
For a while, it would catch up to the electronics. So, like in the long run, you probably have to choose the.
What if I get down to one pair of clothes and I just wear them all the time?
Okay, so you never have freshly cleaned laundry.
That's smart. Actually, and to be fair,
you shower with your laundry on.
Yeah, then you wash it while you're in there and you keep it on. You go stand outside for a bit or something.
Or you just buy new clothes every day.
The computer.
Or you buy so many clothes that you keep rotating through them that you never need to wash them.
Right, you just wear new clothes every day.
Not
laundry.
freshly washed. Go to one of those cheap websites so you get a shirt for like $1.
Yeah.
A werewolf of all things. You know that thing's eating good.
Yeah, right. That's not clean.
Yeah, people poop all over you.
Just hairy too. Gross.
Big, I bet too.
You got another question in there?
Yeah, it's Romeo 1 says, who do y'all think would win in a fight, Warhammer Space Marines or Destiny Guardians? P.S. I'm actually getting excited about the future of Destiny again. Nice.
I mean,
glad to hear it.
Boy, I got
Guardians
by a long shot.
Guardians are immortal.
Yeah, Guardians are immortals. It just doesn't seem fair.
Yeah.
OP, the whole resurrecting.
The Space Marine dudes they're taller though, right?
Yeah,
they're a lot bigger.
9 feet
But
taller.
I guess a Space Marine could crush a ghost though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look
like
at that.
if you Batman your way into beating Superman, like one time, I still think Superman is going to beat Batman's ass like 99 out of 100, right? And I think a Guardian is going to beat a Space Marine's ass 99 out of 100.
You heard it
I
here
do
first.
want the Space Marine to win though. Like I want him to chop him up with a
Well,
chainsaw. Like,
well, you
that's
got to
the
make
thing.
it an even fight. Like you got to say, what about a Primarch? Okay, well, yeah, let's
Okay.
throw, like escalate it a bit.
Yeah, they do have psychic. They have psychic, like
Yeah, psychers could.
yeah, like librarians have psychic powers. They could do some cool shit. But I don't think anybody's got a golden gun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Or a Nova bomb.
Disintegration. Yeah, supers are the big equalizer here. If it was just hand to hand or
Yeah.
like gun to gun,
I think it would
then
be pretty even. But once you bring in the supers,
space magic.
yeah, and also resurrections instantly. Ace Dog 00 says, I need a recommended weapon for Monster Hunter Wilds. I currently rock the Charge Blade, but don't feel that is my true weapon. I hate the longsword. I prefer close combat. What do you think? Or what good video will explain my options to me? P.S. Dad gamer with limited time.
Okay, so we hate the longsword.
Mhm.
Charge blade isn't our true heart's desire. Wants to
Mhm.
be close range.
Mhm.
I mean, switch axe could be a good option there.
How about the dual blades?
So singles dual blade.
It depends what he doesn't like about the longsword. Because it is one of
Yeah.
the. It's not the fastest weapon, but it's one of the faster, on the faster side. You know what I would say? In Wilds, Alma will ask you questions to help you figure this out. It's genuinely really good. It's like she gives you a quiz and figures out a weapon for you and gives you an option, and then you can test them all right away.
That's
I
sick.
think I'd say I'll say switchblade. I'm going switchblade.
Did he say wait? Was it switch axe or switch blade? He didn't like.
Oh wait, no, sorry, switch axe. I don't know why I said switchblade. He
Switchblades
didn't like
are cool, though.
longsword.
Like,
The switchblades
flick.
are cool. He doesn't like longsword.
Is longsword the katana? Or is that the
Yes.
katana?
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would just watch Arix's playlist and then probably go into like the testing ground and trial 2. Right? And see
Yeah.
what
Yeah, if you
tickles
want
your
to figure it
fancy.
out in world, I'd just grab the melee weapons and see what you think, and then after you've kind of fiddled with them a bit, watch Eric's videos on it and see what they can actually do, like the depth
And
of
then
them.
Yeah.
go punch a Yagras.
Yeah.
Those videos are super nice to have because like sometimes it's not obvious like how to use this weapon correctly.
Yeah.
Like what the
Mhm.
combos are
Definitely.
and what the button sequence is to make those combos work.
Yeah, there's a
Mhm.
lot they don't tell you. They tell you the very basics, but they don't really
Yeah.
expand on it.
Yep.
Blandy McBlanderson says, do you guys decorate your houses and or yards for Halloween? How about Christmas?
Halloween, no. Christmas, yes.
What do you
Christmas,
do on
I throw up a
Christmas?
light and a Christmas tree.
A light?
A light on it's like the light that you can point at your house and it has like
yeah.
the effects on the house. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
like
that's
the
easy.
spinnies
You
and
literally just
stuff.
plug it in and point it
Yeah.
at the house.
Yeah.
And it's pretty effective. It looks good.
I full
Too
send.
lazy.
I string up the lights all along the roof, the edge of the roof, and I get inflatables out in the front yard because the kids love the inflatables, and the other kids in the neighborhood like seeing them. Yeah, but we don't do much for Halloween though. We participate. Our kids love to go trick or treat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But don't really decorate much.
We have those like electric candles that we put in the windows for Halloween that like kind of flicker but don't burn down
Mhm.
your house. But we don't do a whole lot for Halloween. And we don't get a lot of kids anymore. Like post COVID, we live
No.
in like kind of prime real estate. Like pre COVID, we're like right by the schools, and we're like a cul-de-sac kind of neighborhood. We used to get a ton of kids, and post-COVID, we haven't gotten many at all.
They all grew up during that time, Briar. They're all in college now. COVID happened. They're in college.
I guess they didn't make any more new ones.
I mean, nope.
But for Christmas, we don't do the blow-ups, but we do very similar to what TV was saying. We do the lights outside, and we have like a Japanese maple that we string the lights all up, even though it's not a Christmas tree. It looks good anyway.
I do love seeing all the lights.
I like the lights too.
It just makes it. That's my favorite part of Christmas. I think it just makes it feel nice. It gets dark at like 4 p.m. So having all these lights makes it a little cheerier.
The tree is mandatory. We went 1 year without a tree, and I swear to God, it was just like there was just no Christmas spirit. You know, like it just
we did the same thing. It doesn't feel right. Yeah, the tree makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you had to choose the two, I appreciate when people go super hard on like Halloween, like sort of borderline. Like
me too.
I don't know if that's appropriate for kids. Like, but like if you look at there's like some crazy like just stuff that people will like put up, and it's like super expensive, but.
Yeah.
I was trying to find like I'll share it with one of my friends who is known to love this stuff to try to like scare his kids and stuff, but just like meaning recreations of like it and like projection type stuff that's like showing like full on like scenes of not like again you got a borderline, you got a neighborhood around, but I can say that I appreciate when people go super hard on that stuff because obviously for like Christmas. The light shows are really nice with music and stuff. I do like that, but if I had to choose the super crazy scary stuff, this is not a good example, but you can get like a 25-foot inflatable Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That is amazing.
Around that, it's like $700. Grab it.
There's a single lady, a few neighborhoods over that we took that goes so hard on Halloween, and I don't know how she's done it, but. It looks so good at night. She has this, I don't know how she built it. It had to have been custom made, but it's these bits and pieces of what I think is supposed to maybe be like a Slenderman kind of a recreation, but it's enormous. She has a 2-story house, and like she made an arm that's like reaching around the side of the house. One that reaches over the roof, and then the head that's like peeking over, like it's crawling over the roof to get to you.
Oh, that's
wow, that's incredible.
It looks so good.
I'm gonna need a picture of that in my DMs.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
Same. She's done it again this year. I'll take a picture of it. But it was so cool.
Love that.
Yeah, I love that.
2 more questions. Grimlock says, do you find it unattractive or a turnoff for someone to wear a video game shirt in public? Do you wear any Destiny or other game merch you've purchased or in public if you have any? I regularly wear my Season of the Splicer hoodie in public, and someone even recognized it.
I think it's all context. Like, it doesn't matter at all, but like, I mean, if you're going out for a nice dinner or something, and like, you know what I mean? Like, date is a first date. Like, I'd maybe in that situation, I think dressing up, I wouldn't wear like a Star Wars shirt either.
You telling me, Fran, if I rolled up for a first date in my faux fur Elden Ring jacket with the map of the lands between, you'd have a problem?
No problem here.
If one of us is on the other side of the table, I'm just saying, if you don't know what you're dealing with,
I look like
I think it's good. I mean, you might as well get rid of them straight away if they don't like video games. So like, wear all your video game shirts. Like, just narrow the pool.
That's true. We weed out friends and loved ones that way. Anyone that's got a problem with it.
I reckon 90% of my closet is video game shirts.
Stuff they send
mostly
you.
Destiny.
Yeah,
that Bungie just sent me.
Yeah.
I give it all to my kids and my wife because I actually don't like wearing it. But it's mainly because I don't like wearing cotton t-shirts. There's something about cotton t-shirts I don't find comfortable at all. So I just don't wear them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wearing like, you would know this is what is it? Red
Cabal, Red Wars.
Yeah, it's a Red War.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got a Space Invaders t-shirt on.
That's great.
Yeah, you did.
Love it.
My point, 90% of the time, it doesn't matter. But if you're like going for a job interview, that's what I'm saying. Like,
sure.
No,
sometimes you got to think about it. That's all I was getting.
Not a t-shirt environment,
Unless it was a job at like IGN or GameSpot.
True.
We went out recently, and Steph was wearing her Halcyon t-shirt, who's a character in Baldur's Gate that you can romance. And yeah, I was like, yeah, this is my wife, Stephanie, and that's her boyfriend. On her shirt there.
Last question of the night. Twisted Joystick Podcast says, Briar, I've gotten huge into emulation. Oh, this shouldn't have been the last question. My bad.
Oh, that's
I've gotten huge into emulation. I can't stop. What's your thoughts on best handheld emulators? I've been playing GameCube games on my phone with a controller. I have the Analog Pocket, and I love it. It's got an amazing screen on it. You can put real cartridges into it for handhelds, but it also, you can play anything up to like the Neo Geo, NES, Genesis, Super Nintendo.
Nice.
Very nice piece of device. It's like $200.
Also, boo Nintendo for what they
Yeah.
did.
What did Nintendo do?
They shut down an emulation thing. Like
Oh,
it's
They're always
gone.
shutting down emulation.
So, well, I think that was like the last one, as far as my understanding. So it's emulation for the Switch is essentially dead. Something like that. I didn't look fully into it, but yeah, it's called Ryujinx.
Yeah.
Checks out.
You know, pretty risky business to be designing emulation for Nintendo's current console. Just saying.
Yeah, that's
Bold move.
It's a good way to put it.
I just hey, when these game companies, I know it's not easy. I know you can't do this all the time, but when until game companies are releasing their older and current and whatever games on a place that will exist forever,
Mhm.
emulation should exist to preserve those games.
I agree, but also wait till
Piracy.
Switch 2 comes out and Nintendo's not going to give a fuck anymore.
Oh, they will.
Well, they will. Yeah.
Oh, they will. They were like, we shut down the Wii U store, but you cannot emulate it. Banned.
True.
I don't know. Does a Dolphin emulate Wii U?
Oh, I don't know.
Nintendo
Nintendo
rat
was
them
a
out
lot
like
I
younger.
thought
that,
the
Briar.
Dolphin did get shut down. I thought
Dolphin
that
got
was a
shut
while
down?
back. I thought that was a while back. I might be wrong. I'm not in the emulation scenes. I'm not sure.
That'd be a shame.
I'm about to emulate me some dinner.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah, I
that.
hear that.
Guys, great show tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend, a nice, safe weekend. And we'll see you next week.
Next week
See
with
ya.
the Destiny launch. It's coming out tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Next week. Not tomorrow.
For some people
Tuesdays.
listening, it'll be tomorrow. That's
And
what
it starts right now.
Yeah, that's true. If
It
if you're
starts right
listening on
now.
Monday, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
If it's Tuesday, it's right now. Go have fun.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Later, y'all.
See ya.